these are all shades of green. We have army green, we have turquoise.
It's still a challenge.
So we are still having problem with transport.
Yeah, transport.
Miss Debbie. Sorry, Miss Regina.
It was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah.
The traffic wasn't that massive.
From my place to this place,
Traffic.
So does that mean that there are no businesses in Ablekuma? Because it looks like everyone is going
heading to
into the city.
A lot of people go to this side also, but the cars here is Ubenya.
You
get it.
Very easy.
You get it.
Yeah.
But then it looks as if the people from Ablekuma working in Accra more than the people from this side.
Yeah. Until much decentralization, more money being Ablekuma, so that people will stop going to.
That we should be there now.
It should be there.
It will come, then another traffic will come. Yes.
So one-sided of the city should be with traffic, and one side.
But then
of
I think when it happened, when we have maybe 50%, it will be balanced.
Our side, we don't want 50. They should
because
take
this stretch is very, very free.
Yeah,
very,
very free.
But in the evenings, it's not.
So everybody is going back home.
So you see, let it be like that. So they experience it in the morning, we experience it in the evening.
That is it. Right. Thank you so much, my ladies. Let's get into the news story this morning. AG opposes Wuntumi's bail application, cites flight risks. The Attorney General's office has opposed a bail application filed by NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Enchibuesiako, popularly known as Chairman Wuntumi, as he appeals his 20-year prison sentence. Wuntumi's lawyers went to the High Court on Friday, August 7th, asking for bail, while the Court of Appeal considers his bail against his conviction and sentence. However, in an affidavit filed on Tuesday, August 11th, the Attorney General is asking the court to reject the application. The AG argues that the grounds of appeal filed by Wuntumi do not show that his appeal has a reasonable chance of succeeding. A major concern raised by the prosecution is flight risks. The Attorney General says Wuntumi is a significant flight risk and is asking the court to consider the possibility that he may leave Ghana if granted bail while his appeal is pending. The issue before the court is therefore not simply whether Wuntumi is appealing his conviction, but whether there are sufficient reasons to release him on bail while that appeal is being determined. It is important to note that the Attorney General's position is an objection to the bail application and not a final determination by the court. The court will ultimately decide whether bail should be granted and under what conditions. Yes, so this is a new development on the case of Chairman Wuntumi, and we've seen that his lawyers, it's been reported that his lawyers have filed for an appeal and for him to be granted bail, asking for him to be released while his appeal is being, the process still goes on. But the AG has also filed an application that Wuntumi is at a flight risk. If you allow Wuntumi to be released, if you give them the bail and he comes home whilst his issues are still pending in court, there's a high probability that he is going to jackpot. He's going to run away from the country. So due to that, this appeal that it brought to the Supreme Court, to the Court of Appeal, is actually not reasonable. So, Mumbongo. But the AG's objection doesn't actually determine the court's decision if Wuntumi will be granted a bail or not. Let's see actually what the court says. But let me ask my ladies what they actually think about it if they side with the AG. Ms. Debbie.
Personally, I support what the Attorney General is saying. This is somebody that has been convicted. Wuntumi is being charged with a lot of criminal cases. Now, the first case that has to do with illegal mining. And there are other cases also with illegal mining. But the first one, he was convicted and proven guilty. And he has been sentenced. So, I see no reason why he should be granted bail to come home while the other cases are being tackled in court. It doesn't happen that way. Immediately you are being proven guilty and then you've been sentenced. Your place of home is the jail. That is where you are supposed to be. Whilst other cases are being tackled at court, when you are being needed, they come for you at jail, straight to the court, and then back to your place of home. There shouldn't be an instance where going to me should be granted bail. Then when it happens like that, it means we are not being fair. What of the ordinary Ghanaian that is also there? We have people that have been jailed there for even things that they know nothing about, but because they don't have the money to seek for a counsel, and so that is why they are still there. So if we should grant Wontumi bail to be in the house whilst the case is being handled at the court, then same should be down to all the prisoners that are there. They should also be granted bail and be in the house while their cases are being looked into. I believe that the fact the moment you are being convicted, as I said earlier on, there shouldn't be an instance where you should be granted bail. This is not a case of an appeal. Yes, although you have the right to appeal, but then you should be where you are. Let's take in the case of Edubuahin and the others. The court has not yet convicted them of any crime or proven them guilty. The case is still being looked into. So with them, they are in the house. But when the issues pop up or another issue come up, they go to court. So with them, it's a different case. But with Wontumi, he has already been proven guilty in one of the case, of which he has been sentenced to 20 years. So it doesn't really make sense to me when you tell me that because there are other cases, so he should go home and rest. And then when they want to deal with that cases, he is back to court, to talk on it, and then after that, you are back home. No, it doesn't work that way. So I feel like the right thing should be done. It's a no-no with that. It's a no-no for me. It's a no-no for me. And even with the Council of Wontumi, who is the Council of Wontumi? Atacha himself has a question mark.
Why? Why do you think he has a question mark?
He has a question mark because...
Do you have a personal beef with him?
I don't have a personal beef with him, but I think I'm going to talk more on the second topic with the vacation issue. Because you said you wouldn't be in court, but then you are filed on 7th August, you filed for an appeal, but he said you wouldn't be in court, so it doesn't make sense.
Alone.
Yeah, so what are you trying to say? You don't want to be in court for is it who is he standing for? Is it Abdul Hanan and the wife?
No,
Abdul Hanan is Dami. The who is he standing for? No, I think he was just sharing his view on the vacation issue, and then he said he wouldn't be in court. So if you say you wouldn't be in court, why should you go and file for an appeal for Wontumi? What are you saying? So for me, this doesn't tally. So long as you are found guilty, be there. That is your home now. If any case pop out, you come to court, they deal with it, and then you are back to your home. That's not a case where because you are a private, a government official, but you didn't consider the adverse effect of your own action. Now here lies the case where we have government officials that have only one excuse, and after maybe the person is being leveled with some criminal cases, you tend to hear them saying they are sick, and the only place they can recover is outside the country. They cannot recover here in Ghana. In fact, they cannot seek treatment here. So if Wontumi is being given that privilege, the chance of him running out of this country is very high. It's not slim. And then we'll get to have the case of second what's the name? Second of Oriata. So that is what we are trying to prevent.
Yeah. So yesterday in the evening, I was listening to the news on radio, and according to reports, one reason the AG actually gave as to why Wontumi shouldn't be granted bail was that after Wontumi was convicted and interviews were granted to his lawyers, especially Apia Kubi, with certain comments he actually made could actually tell us that this man, if you grant him the bail, what he will actually do, it will be difficult to, grab him again. So I would say that Wontumi, the lawyers now, no. That is actually the reason why Wontumi is not getting the bail that he's getting. But the onus lies on the court to decide if Wontumi should be granted bail or not. Well, as it stands now, we've not read the document of the appeal, so we don't know the reasons his lawyers cited as to why Wontumi should be granted bail pending the proceedings at the Court of Appeal. Miss Regina, your thoughts, please.
So I was trying to make my investigation as to if it's possible for someone who is already serving a 20-year sentence to be granted bail. And according to the law, it states that no matter the circumstances, it is normal, or you have the right plead for bail or go for bail or whatever. But the issue is, let me be gentle with my words. How I say more. How is it possible that you are in prison and you've already been convicted for 20 years and you're asking for bail? First off, this issue is 50-50 to me. If Chairman Wontumi was able to be in Ghana for this period of time during his to and fro from court, and he didn't leave the country, it in a way serves as a, or it gives him credit that probably if he's been given bail on free Ghana. But now the issue here is you've already been sentenced to 20 years. And the 20 years of you saying, say, oh, you want bail, no? How is it possible? Like 20 years and you say, I say, oh, money bail na pampa no go tinefia. Then I be 20 years if you're in prison, the days are counting.
Yeah.
So what happens to the 20 years? Or probably if he's in the house, that 20 years is over. Or probably if he's in the house and he's not in prison, the 20 years has paused. So when he resumes back to prison, then the counting will resume. Probably will take it like that. But he will leave the country. You leave the country.
Yeah,
it is very high. That is why they are saying it's a flight risk. There's no way someone like Chairman Wontumi has been given 20 years, and we've seen instances where some of the opposition parties are even against the 20 years, saying that they are calling for his release. And once this man comes out, that is it. As Debbie said, this will be the second case of Ken Oforiatta, and there's nothing we can do about it. We will not see him again. So they denying his bill, I think it is the right thing. And even if they had granted it, it would have raised another eyebrow. Exactly. It would have raised another issues altogether. So I think it's good they cancelled it.
As it stands now, as I mentioned earlier, the onus lies on the courts if they are going to give Wontumi or grant Wontumi that bill. So definitely the court will make its decision, and as of when it comes, we'll let you know about it. Let's dive into our next news item. Chief Justice speaks on legal vacation, says it doesn't stop judges from hearing cases. Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni has clarified that Ghana's legal vacation does not automatically mean that judges cannot hear cases. He says if a judge is sitting and ready to hear a case, a lawyer cannot simply refuse to appear because the matter has been scheduled during the legal vacation. The Chief Justice explained that lawyers can take leave if their clients agree to it, but they cannot use the legal vacation as a reason to prevent a judge from proceeding with a case. He also stressed that adjournments are a judicial decision, meaning it is the judge handling the case who decides whether a matter should be postponed or not, the Chief Justice, and not the Chief Justice or the lawyers. His comments come amid a disagreement with the Ghana Bar Association, which has raised concerns about lawyers being required to appear in court during the legal vacation. The GBA has argued that the legal vacation, which runs from August 1st to September 30th, is intended to provide judges, lawyers, and judicial staff with a break. The association says while urgent matters can be heard during the vacation, trials are generally not supposed to proceed, particularly where lawyers have already indicated that they are unavailable. The Bar Association has therefore maintained that if counsel is unavailable during the vacation, the case should not proceed in their absence. The Chief Justice, however, appears to be drawing a distinction between legal vacation and a complete suspension of court work. His position is that the vacation does not take away a judge's authority to sit and hear a case. The debate now raises questions about the balance between the court's responsibility to ensure cases move forward and lawyers' right to take their scheduled professional break. Yeah, so this is the whole legal vacation buhara, where certain lawyers of certain clients are saying that, especially has to do with the lawyer of Hanan and also Edubuahin. Yeah, they mentioned that it's legal vacation, so they are not going to be available. They are not going to appear in court. Now we've heard from the Chief Justice, who says that it is actually the judges that actually have to make that decision and not the lawyers. The lawyers, the people you actually have to listen to, or the person who has that right to tell you not to handle this particular case is going to be your client. Your client is your employer and you are the employee. So what the client says is what you obey. Miss Debbie, you were so interested in this topic. It's here now.
Yes, so when you look at the Court Act 1993, Act 495, and the High Court Civil Procedure Rules 2004, Constitutional Instrument 47, and High Court Criminal Procedure Rules 1960, and Section of 2 of Act 459 defines it, and Order 68 of the Constitutional Instrument 47 set the date. So this article that I just mentioned to you state that the lawyers has the right to go on recess or to go on vacation. And so they have two vacation they go on. One is during the Easter period, and the second one has to do with August and September.
Yes.
Now, this should be viewed in two perspectives. The first perspective is that these lawyers, they are humans. Regardless, they also need to have time with their family. When you take journalists, we work 2-4-7. Even on holidays, journalists do not even have time. We don't even have I don't know whether we have a specific time or period that states that in a year someone can go on leave for 2 months. That is you missing out topical issues or trending issues for 2 months.
But
yeah, some media houses run shift. They run shift because they have a lot of hands. So maybe we have about 10 or 20 people that maybe host the show. We have about 10 or 20 people that read the news. So even if one person is on leave for 2 months or 1 month, I mean, there are people that stay behind to do the work. But in some media houses, the hands are kind of limited, and so there is nothing like a leave. So you stay in throughout. So for hours, you only go on leave or during Christmas period. So someone having planned, because if you know that from August to September there is vacation, and then you've planned, and all of a sudden you need to cancel it. Now during the vacation period, we have the vacation judge that sits on issues. Now these vacation issues are not issues that comes with a difficult issues that will need say a number of counsel to come on board, do the findings and all that. These are trials that are common trials that can be solved during vacation. Then after that, substantial cases that involves deep research, you finding into details what the case is actually about, and you get more than 1 or 3 counsels to sit on that matter, then you can that is after the vacation. So after the vacation, they deal with big cases like criminal cases like this Wahab issue, like other issues as well. But on vacation, they don't deal with that because they know that lawyers are going on a break. Now another side is, it is only the Chief Justice that have the right to tell you that vacation yimonko. And I'm not just saying that. If you again look at Article 157 of the 1992 Constitution and Section 2 of the Act 1993, Act 495, it states that the Chief Justice has the power under this article to regulate court sittings and vacation. So the Chief Justice has the right to tell you that specific cases continue to be heard during vacation. And I think yesterday I had a chance to listen to Srimsai, and then he was saying that when it has to do with vacation, the Chief Justice has the right to tell you that this period it can be halted, and that doesn't mean that automatically means that you, the lawyer, has to be in court. You can be in the house and still be filing your the needed materials that the judge needs to proceed with the case in court. So it is not necessary for you to be in court right there, like present in person. So they don't know what Atacha is saying. Now, Atacha is one person that is solely against this, including Godfrey Yeboah Adame, that is standing for the Wahab case, and another judge too. I think Augustine something. Judge? Yeah, sorry, another lawyer who is also called Augustine. I've forgotten the other name. Also standing for another case. These are the three. Yes, three lawyers that are so against this vacation issue, and therefore Atacha is a no for him. So he's saying that he's not going to come, but someone who states that he's not going to be available during the vacation period, and then you file for an appeal for wound to me.
And you want the judge.
You want the judge, yes. So what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? Godfrey Yeboah Adame is supposed to be in court today on the Wahab issue. I don't know whether he will be there or not, but I think in the course of the day, whether he will be there or not, there are court journalists that will be there to feed us on whatever will go on today. So for me, in as much as the vacation is important, because as a human being you need to rest. But on the other hand too, I think some cases should be looked into. We have vacation lawyers, we have vacation judges. When this issue popped up, we have that of the Ghana Bar Association speaking on this issue, and they said the lawyers has the right. Now when you look at the Ghana Bar Association, they are being licensed different from the lawyers. So it's as if the Ghana Bar Association do not have a say to talk about this issue. That is what legal practitioners are saying. Yeah, you are speaking on behalf of the lawyers, but they are stating that when it has to do with affairs of the lawyers and whether they should say Ghana Bar Association should be silenced, because the MPP is also calling on the lawyers to adhere to what the Ghana Bar Association is saying, that they should allow these lawyers to go home and rest. But the Chief Justice is also saying that there are cases that needs to be looked into. Now my problem is we have about 1 million plus lawyers in Ghana here. So even if there are vacation that maybe top-notch lawyers are going home, there should also be top-notch lawyers that works on vacation. Yes, that can cover up these cases. So I feel like there's interesting days ahead, let me put it that way.
Yeah, and I think with the case of Edubo Ahene as well, his lawyer also refused to appear in court, and he's been given 6 days.
Yeah, 6 days to either or you be the defense yourself, and then
and see if you go or not. Right. Thank you, Miss Regina.
Okay, so one thing we need to know is when it comes to a court or high court, any other court, it cannot be inactive just because some set of lawyers or some set of people are saying that it is time for their legal vacation. And I'll side with Debbie on the side where she said they are humans, and when it comes to humans, we need a break. And I believe that when it has to do with that issue, provision is being made for the people, that is the clients who are currently on board to listen to go for a case or something of that sort. A provision is being made for them. So now my issue is, if indeed you want to go for your legal vacation, which no one is saying that don't go for your legal vacation, that should also tell you that it doesn't automatically mean that the case wouldn't go on. The case would have to proceed with or without you, because the judge currently is already available and is ready to proceed with the case. And as it's stated in the article, it is only the judge who can decide to adjourn it or not adjourn it, because on a case no it's in also, and he is the one in charge of the case. So he can decide to say that, oh, we've rescheduled or we've adjourned the case to this said date, and that is fine. But for a lawyer to say that, oh, because I'm on vacation, so I wouldn't be available, in a way you are putting your client on the spot. And what is your client supposed to do about it? Because your client is already paying for your services. So I think this has to do with consideration. You have to finish with the case. If you want to go on your legal vacation, you go on your legal vacation. And even aside the legal vacation, after you are done with a case, I believe and I know well that you can take a break
yourself. You can decide not to take any other cases.
Exactly. So I don't know the issue about it. It's just like you being a photographer. You've been straight from Monday to Friday, and someone has brought a gig. You decide to take it or leave it. If you want to take it also, you take it after the gig. Then you'll be like, oh, I'm dedicating these 2 days to rest. I'm not taking any case again. So after the 2 days, then you go back to your case again. So I think they should be considerate. And no be to me. And it has resulted into this.
Exactly.
So I think they need to be considerate. You know fully well. See, one thing I've realized is, as a journalist, whether it's your off day, not your off day, any emergency case can pop up and they can just call you that report to work. Some of these jobs comes with inconveniences, and you should sign up for it. No matter what, you should sign up for it. So the lawyers should get ready, because me studying the law itself, you can see it's a very difficult job.
Yeah, it is.
So any inconveniences that comes with it, they should accept it in good faith, because that is what they signed up for. This has to do with passion. If passion in you, yeah, so they should accept it like that and proceed with the case.
Right.
They are nobody to end the case.
But looking at all these people that are saying that they won't be present in court, with the likes of Atachia, the likes of Godfred Dame, looking at the party they're actually coming from, do you think that is a propaganda or is coming from a genuine place? Because they are quite an agenda, and I miss Debbie. Sorry.
For me, it can either be a propaganda or a genuine case. That is because the law states that they are supposed to go on vacation. That is not as if it is their own will. And the law also states that on vacation you don't deal with trials or cases that are so intense, like criminal cases, something like the Dubois cases, like that needs to be halted. That is what the law states. So in part A, it might be a genuine concern. Just like Atachia said, he said they've already booked flights. They booked flights and all that. What if the families are not even in Ghana, so they've already planned everything, and maybe by 30th August to 1st September I'll be there to meet my family, and all of a sudden this have to cancel. So if they feel like this is going to help, then they need to do a review of that constitution that states that lawyers are supposed to go on vacation. That is a compulsory something that the law states. So it's not as if it is willingness. Now in the other aspects of it might be propaganda as well, that the MPP are just trying to do that to delay the case, and also maybe they've not gotten the needed material to support their client. So they are just doing that so that they can delay the case and then get enough fact to support their client. But someone like Atachia, he has a question mark. You did seem to, yes, the reason why I'm saying this was that you didn't appear on the final judgment of Chemawun to me. You said you went for your daughter's graduation. And this is another case of a Dubois. Dubois was working during your administration. That was the previous administration, MPP administration. And now you're also bringing an excuse, that vacation issue. If a Dubois whose lawyer is Godfred Adame refused to come to court to, what's the name? To stand in for his client, then you are dead, though, because they just can just proceed with and then giving the final judgment.
Yeah. So as the Chief Justice said, the onus lies on the client that the lawyer should come or not. And if the client actually gives or makes that decision that this lawyer shouldn't come, that means that the client is actually going to employ a vacation lawyer. Since you are saying you are not available, then let me go in for somebody who says it's available, since the judge sitting on that case is equally available. So with or without you, the case still has to proceed. Miss Regina, you wanted to say something before Miss Debbie came in.
I forgot.
All right. We'll be looking deeper into this particular issue on the second segment, so do want to stay with us. Let's proceed to our next news item. IMF urges Ghana to sustain quarterly electricity tariff adjustment. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is urging Ghana to continue with quarterly adjustment to electricity tariffs as part of effort to reduce the financial pressure the energy sector puts on government. The IMF says Ghana's energy sector shortfall reduced from about 1.6 billion US dollars in 2024 to 1.4 billion US dollars in 2025. However, the fund says the amount is still significant and continues to pose a risk to government finances. According to the IMF, the improvement was partly due to electricity tariff adjustments, better revenue collection by the Electricity Company of Ghana, reduced reliance on expensive liquid fuels, the appreciation of the cedi, and increased payment to energy suppliers. But the fund estimates that the sector could still record a shortfall of about 1.1 billion US dollars in 2026, largely because of high electricity losses and expensive power generation contracts. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission reduced electricity tariffs by 4.81% in April 2026, before increasing them by 3.49% in July under the quarterly tariff adjustment system. The IMF says maintaining the system is important because it allows electricity prices to better reflect the cost of producing and supplying power. And according to the fund, this could help ECG recover more of its costs and enable government to meet its obligations to independent power producers and fuel suppliers. The IMF is also calling for regular publication of ECG's audited revenue collection accounts and full implementation of the cash waterfall mechanism, which determines how money collected from the electricity sector is distributed among energy sector players. The fund also wants Ghana to increase private sector participation in electricity distribution, saying this could help reduce technical and commercial losses, improve revenue collection, and make the distribution system more efficient. So, while the IMF sees progress, it is warning that Ghana cannot relax the reforms if it wants to make the energy sector financially stable and reduce the burden on taxpayers. So if you want electricity to be stable, that does not mean that you should burden the taxpayers. Mr. B, you think that it's high time we allow private sector to also partner with ECG to distribute the light?
For quite some time now, one thing that everybody kept saying is the government cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
It is believed as such. The government cannot do it alone, and that is why day in, day out, we have our leaders moving from other countries to other African countries to build to cooperate with these African countries, to build a solid relations with these African countries. And that is because the investors you are looking for might be in one of these countries that can help you out. So government cannot do it alone. Anything that has to do with government participating with collaborating with private institutions, it goes on well, unless for corruption. Because sometimes when MPP was on board, they partnered with a private or was it NDC? They partnered with a private entity for stable light, and then at the end of it, we realized that the corruption that went on was so huge, very, very huge, and that is why cases like this sometimes it comes with a lot of questions. How far are we going to go with this?
Yeah.
Is it going to be transparent enough? The people involved. We saw that of Berko Asante, who lied to us that they were going to build a power plant here in Ghana. At the end of the day, about 1 million was like it just vanished. And then the people on that who chaired that today are denying the fact that they know nothing about it. So this is how terrible it is. But on a normal basis, on a normal sense, partnering with a private institution is the best. For private institutions, I can boldly tell you that they have the resources, they have the money. And if a private investor should tell you that I'm investing, they are investing their money, their time, and everything. And because they also have their share in it, they are going to ensure that it works and works well. But sometimes the people, I wouldn't even blame the private institutions that partner with the government institution. Or sometimes it's the bad nuts in the government institutions that manipulate all these things. Because if a private institution partners with the government institution and then they need amount of money to do work or improve something in that sector, it is the representative of the government institution that goes to parliament to solicit for fund. And when they solicit for those funds, sometimes it doesn't even get to the table. Before it get there, it has been slashed. And you, the private investor, are being told to keep quiet. It's either you work, you agree with them, you share the money, and then you do whatever you're supposed to do, or you don't even get to hear it at all, and then the money goes into their pocket. So partnering with private institution is the best, but how sure are we going to ensure transparency and ensure that this thing is clean?
Yeah.
If at the end of the day we partner with private institution and still we are still paying for electricity at a high price, then what is the need?
What is the need, Miss Regina?
So I would say that I would blame Electricity Company of Ghana for going through this phase in their institution because to me I think they lack supervision and should I say effective planning and effective
monitoring.
Monitoring. If you are running a business and the business you are running, you provide, let's say, 100 Ghana cedis to your customers. It's not 100 cedis and probably some coins you are supposed to receive. Maybe the coins is your profit you are supposed to receive. But here lies the case: you receive 80 cedis from the people. That should tell you it's a waboka. And the last time Debbie was giving some analysis about almost say then times they were taking what hotel allowance, a whole lot
travel
of things
expenses,
which doesn't make sense to me.
Public relations, they get their money, cleaners.
Hotel allowance and also, in as much as we are blaming the company on its own, I think we also need to blame the consumers also, because at the end of the day, the consumers they run this illegal connection, and the illegal connection are the ones that run into a loss for the company. And at the end of the day, if the company runs at a loss, the loss that has been lost would at the end of the day has to be covered by the government. And if it is being covered by the government, whose money is it? It is the taxpayers' money. So pano chano, if they have to sack everybody, they should sack everybody and start the company from scratch.
And employ a new set of
competent people. Yes.
Right. Thank you so much, Miss Regina and Miss Debbie. Thank you so much as well for joining me right here on the news preview. Up next, we have Today in History with Miss Regina Bless.
Bringing you Today in History and some few global observances. On this day 2013, Nigeria signed and simultaneously ratified the United Nations Arms Trade Treaty on this day, becoming the 82nd signatory and the very first African nation to complete ratification. Moving on, 1898, an armistice officially suspended the fighting in the Spanish-American War after the signing of a peace protocol in Washington, D.C. This ceasefire set the stage for the formal Treaty of Paris signed last year. Moving on, 2000, Russian sub the Kooks sinks with 118 on board. The Russian nuclear-powered submarine Kooks sank on this day 2000 in the Barents Sea after two catastrophic explosions, resulting in the death of all 118 personnel on board. To a global observance, today is considered International Youth Day to recognize young people's achievements, amplify their voices, and address global youth challenges. And that's all for today on Today in History and some global observances, live on GhanaTalks Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much, Miss Regina Bless. Up next, we have the Beach Girl.
Welcome to Debbie's Grill, where we talk about issues that matter to the state, void of politics, fear of favor. Ghana is spending at least 168 million US dollars annually on fresh and processed tomato import, while disease outbreak has pushed the country's dependence on imported ginger beyond 99%. The figures presented by researchers at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research highlight the scale of Ghana's import dependence on two key horticultural commodities and the foreign exchange costs associated with weak domestic production. The researchers disclosed the figures during the second session of the 2026 Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation Visibility Series held under the team Interventions on Tomato and Ginger. Dr. Michael Kwabena, Principal Research Scientist and Vegetable Breeder of the Crop Research Institute, said Ghana's annual demand for fresh and processed tomatoes exceed 1.4 million metric ton. However, domestic production meets only about 15 to 18% of that requirement. Fresh tomato import, mainly from Burkina Faso, are estimated at between 100,000 and 120,000 metric tons annually, costing Ghana about 80 million US dollars. Processed tomato imports, largely from China and Europe, are equivalent to an estimated 400,000 to 450,000 metric tons of raw tomatoes and cost about 150 million US dollars. That puts Ghana's annual expenditure on fresh and processed tomato import at approximately 168 million US dollars. More than 60% of fresh tomato imports enter the country between November and April, when domestic production falls sharply during the dry season. Dr. Osei said the scale of the import reflects a significant production gap, despite Ghana having more than 400,000 hectares of arable land suitable for tomato cultivation. Average yields, however, remain between 7 and 10 tons per hectare, compared with potential yields of 20 to 80 tons per hectare under improved varieties and better agronomic practices. According to the researchers, the constraints include poor access to quality seed, limited irrigation, declining soil fertility, pest and disease, and weak extension support. Ghana's independence on imported planting material is another concern. Dr. Osei said more than 85% of the tomato seed planted in Ghana is commercial hybrid seed, increasing production costs for farmers and exposing the sector to external supply chain. This is huge. Ginger imports has to do about 18,000 tons to 30,000 and 32,000 in 2025. A sack of ginger cost 4,000 in 2025 and had reached approximately 6,000 or more. So this is a lot, but in summary, the Ghana Research Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has revealed that Ghana spent about 168 million US dollars in importing tomato alone. Tomato and ginger, but with the tomato we spent 168 million US dollars on raw tomato and processed tomato. So the raw tomato that we eat and then the processed one that we use for the stew are all imported. Now sometimes I sit down and then I think about we having a fertile land of which we can plant our own tomato and also export outside for other countries to also have a taste of how Ghana tomato feel like. But we have about 400,000 hectares of land here in Ghana that are so fertile, but we still import tomato here. What is wrong with us? And the challenges that they mentioned is something that has a solution. It's something that we can overcome. The soil are not fertile enough. We have agrochemicals that can be used to mix with. We can mix it with the soil and make it fertile. I remember back then in school they've told us before that when we want to plant even common maize, we can mix the soil with goat feces it fertile. You can't say it makes the soil fertile. So these are things you can do. And sometimes when you go to the backyard of people, they plant maize, and then when it grows, you see that they surround the root of the maize with goat feathers. They're not just doing that because they feel like doing it, but they know that it has a role to play in the growth of that maize. And so we can do it. We can do it. I don't know what is our problem. I remember when Burkina Faso said that they are not going to stop the exportation of their tomato. It became a headache here in Ghana because we rely on their tomato. And when we went to the market to interview the market women, they were complaining. And as much as it was expensive, they had no option. They just have to rely on it. And that is why tomato in Ghana here is very, very expensive. You go to the market and then they are selling one tomato for you 5 cedis. Just one tomato, 5 cedis. We have industries, we have companies here in Ghana that process raw tomato into a finished, tomato, like a tomato paste. But we still import. And it has been revealed that it also have its health implications with both the raw tomato and then the imported ones. But day in, day out, there are more revelations to this. But it looks as if our government, they don't even care. From previous administrations we have till now, it is still the same. The equation is still the same. There's not been any change. We have farmers that are into tomato, and anytime these farmers speak, they keep complaining. They are doing their best too. They are doing their best, but the government can also help them. We have the agricultural sector, but with the agricultural sector, I personally, if you ask me, I don't even know what they are doing. I don't know what they are doing. Maybe they are working behind the scene and we are not seeing. But there is a lot to do, a lot to do. These are petty things that we can even pay attention to. We're spending about 168 million alone on tomato and then ginger. It's a huge cost to us as a country. There's some money that can be retained right here in Ghana. We can support these farmers, give them the necessary equipment that will make their work so easy. We are in the 21st century. If you go to other countries, especially the Western world, you don't see farmers breeding with cutlass. That is in the olden days. Now everything is about technology. They use machine. Even with planting of seed, whether maize seed or tomato seed or whatever seed it is, they don't plant it with their bare hands. It's a machine. What you just have to do is, they have something like a phone or a remote, and then you're just controlling the machine. This is what the government can do to help the ordinary farmer out there. You provide them with this equipment, you educate them on how to use it, and it makes it easier. It's going to bring relief on the ordinary farmer, and it's going to bring relief on us as a country. The government will benefit. Me as a consumer, I'm going to benefit, because if Ghana is producing its own tomato here, we don't import raw tomato, we don't import processed tomato, then it means that the tomato here will be sold at a lesser price. So me buying tomato 5 cedi, I might get like 5 or maybe 6, and it's okay. But when you go to the market, it's a different thing, and the traders keep complaining. We were here where they said they were going to bring Sablugu Dam. The dam is nowhere to be found. The money is also nowhere to be found. And all the time we keep saying this. Politicians will come and sit right here, and then they'll rubbish this whole issue and make it look as if you are after their government. But it's not like that. These are things that we need to pay attention to. These are daily vegetables that we consume every day. You can't tell me that you eat food without tomato. When you're preparing stew, you need tomato. Even banku, you need tomato. Everything is one of the key ingredient, key vegetable that you need in preparing food. Something like pepper, we can farm it right here in Ghana. Pepper, tomato, ginger. This shouldn't be something we should be importing. We are the same people that keep complaining that when we import, it's costing the country a lot. They brought akoko and kete. We later realized that the akoko was eaten by the. What is going on? The Nkukwan Kisinkiti project or initiative that was being initiated by this government was to reduce reliance on imported frozen chicken. And they've given the chicken out, they've eaten the chicken. And the minister was so proud saying it. When I saw it, I was like, sometimes things like this, you don't even say it because it's annoying. You don't have to say it. You don't have to even tell us. Does it make sense? No. 168 million used in importing tomato whilst we have fertile lands in Ghana. God has blessed us with everything. Burkina Faso are making it. They are processing raw tomato into a well-finished tomato paste. We can also do it here and export it to them, but we are relying on them. Until then it becomes a burden on us. We should wake up. We are sleeping. The Ministry of Agri should wake up. The Minister of Agri, I don't even know what you are doing. Maybe you might be working, but it's not evident out there. Because if it is evident, they shouldn't be eating them koko nkete. And there shouldn't be something we should be talking. We shouldn't. It's not something we should be talking about now. We should rather be praising you because the import of tomato has reduced, and not to be bashing you because we are still importing tomatoes. Thank you for making time with me on the screen.
Thank you so much, Mr. B, for that, girl. And thank you, too, for joining us right here on the first segment of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. We'll be with you shortly with the second segment. But right after here, we are going for the news. Please take and stay with us.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare,
Regina Bless,
Deborah Adoso,
and I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the morning news update on Ghana Talks Radio. Coming up this morning, Center for Democratic Development flags ongoing political polarization as threat to national cohesion. Ghana U.S. Embassy audit exposes systemic gap in foreign mission protocols. Also in the news, Accra High Court reject adjournment request in 291 million National Petroleum Authority theft case. Deputy Attorney General accuses Ghana Bar Association of misinterpreting the law. We've got full details on these stories and many others coming up shortly. The Ghana Center for Democratic Development has raised alarm over what it describes
as a growing culture of political friction in the country. In a statement released, the governance think tank cautioned that political polarization, mistrust, and confrontational rhetoric have become persistent features of Ghana's public discourse. According to the Center for Democratic Development, the country has traditionally seen spikes in political hostility around presidential and parliamentary elections. However, recent monitoring shows that divisions are being sustained year-round through media commentary, social media, and partisan engagement at the local level. They urge political parties, civil society, traditional leaders, and the media to prioritize dialogue and responsible communication.
The topic giving beyond the balance. We've realized that as the three waves came, when these frictions started, I remember in 2012, myself and Dr. Kwesi did special project on electoral violence. Our conclusion was that it was targeted towards only election seasons, but it was deployed mainly through propaganda messaging. Fast forwarding in the 2016 election, we saw additional wave where vigilantism became part of the friction, where ballot box snatching became deepened, attacks and confrontations in the system. But all those two waves were targeted at election seasons. What we are witnessing now is the third wave. I don't know whether we're going to have a fourth wave, where the political frictions have extended to post-election governance. So we are witnessing on ending political frictions across elections, across governance system, which of course is dangerous for us. As I did say, it stops governance, it diverts attention and the focus, where citizens should be talking about development strategy, peace in the country, suggesting opportunities for improvement of livelihoods. We've been concentrating on personal assassination, attacks, and criticisms, negative ones for that matter. We don't know any better benefits for our country. So this platform is very much good. What's important is because, in our ordinary platforms, political party leadership always perform to the admiration of their supporters. When we have a closed-door discussion like this, we are frank, we are candid, we are able to identify a common challenge and deal with them passionately. So that's why it's important that we have these councils supporting us to facilitate this platform where political parties can come together, admit their errors, fashion going forward consensus so that we do away with the public committees that are always negative to our livelihoods, to our survival.
The Executive Director of the Institute for Energy Security and Policy Research, Kojo Poku, has described the absence of standard operating procedures across Ghana's embassies and High Commission as a failure of leadership. Mr. Poku doubles as a member of the New Patriotic Party communications team said the audit has laid bare deep administrative weakness in how foreign missions operate in the country. The forensic audit at the Ghana Embassy in Washington, D.C. has triggered public debate over financial management, staffing and accountability in Ghana's diplomatic missions. The exercise was initiated after reports of irregularities surfaced at the U.S. mission. Executive Director argued that without clear standard operating procedures, embassies are vulnerable to abuse, inefficiency, and reputational damage.
People are being posted to these embassies and they turn it into a business. As clearly we are seeing, people are making $19 million, which money that could have otherwise come to the state is going to an individual pocket. Look, most embassies have now brought in these private companies that do. The British embassy is doing it, all the EU companies are doing it, where you deal with private entities instead of the you understand? The British, we remember those days when we used to go and queue at the British embassy, British High Commission. We don't do that anymore. We go to the private people to get our visa, and they charge you the services for the postal and everything. But for what we are finding out, our own citizens in America and people who want to do business with Ghana, if postage costs 10 cedis, if postage costs $10, they are being charged $26. And somebody is pocketing the balance of $16 change. Why? if that money was coming to the embassy, then it would be an IGF for the embassy, and the embassy will have money to do a lot of things. But it's not coming to the embassy as IGF. It's going to private individuals, and they are now, to make matters worse, they are sharing the money in our face by having an account where the money goes in and they share the money among themselves. So look, I just think that one, the refresh which is done in the embassies is done so that no one person stays there and starts these schemes. You come and you go. If there is such a scheme, we're supposed to have a standard operating procedure in all our embassies and in all our, and that's a failure. Look, it's failure. Whether it's at the ministerial level, it is at the ambassadorial level or the High Commission, it's a failure of leadership. Because there's no way whoever was the ambassador at the time could have sat in that embassy and they don't know this was going on.
The Accra High Court has declined a request by lawyers to adjourn the trial of some accused persons in a 291 million National Petroleum Authority theft case involving former NPSEO Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid and 7 others. The application for adjournment was filed by counsel for the 4th, 5th, 7th and 8th accused persons. They asked the court to pause proceedings pending the determination of a petition sent to the Chief Justice seeking to stop trials during the legal vacation. Presiding over the issue, the court ruled against the request and directed that the trial should proceed. The case has drawn significant public attention due to the scale of the alleged financial loss and the seniority of those involved. Joseph Penka, a 7 lawyer for former NPA, says the court's decision means the accused persons will have to continue with the trial despite pending petition to the Chief Justice. Meanwhile, legal observers says the ruling signals the court's resolve to keep high-profile corruption cases in progress.
In absolute respect to the court, because at last adjourned it, we agreed to meet today to continue with CMC. However, as a result of certain circumstances, we were anticipating that the case would be adjourned to October. Because, of course, counsel for A1, my good self and my team, and then A2, A3, and the other accused persons were all present, except counsel for A4, A5, A7, and A8. Who had traveled outside the country and written to the court asking for an adjournment to October. But same was rejected by the court, and the case has been adjourned to the 18th for us to continue with CMC. Well, we had written to the CJ, we petitioned the CJ that we had prior commitments. As a result of the vacation, we anticipated some had commitments here in the country and outside of the country. And we have petitioned the CJ, but there's no reply to that effect yet. So while we await that, the Honorable Court was right in its wisdom to say that until the determination is made by the CJ rejecting or accepting the request to adjourn to October, he's going to continue to sit because he has to comply with the directive and warrant that he was given. And you were in court. Initially, he suggested the 17th, but after we made further applications, it was adjourned to the 18th for us to continue with the CNC. And as I indicated, it is particularly lawyers for A45, A7, and A8 who were absent and had written to the court indicating why they could not attend. Absolutely, we intend to follow up at the office of the Honorable Chief Justice to find out exactly what the decision is, whether or not our petition is receiving a positive outcome or a negative outcome. They need to be able to help us know how to plan ourselves for the holidays. If it is rejected, we have other rights that we can exercise, and nothing is being ruled out. But we are of the conviction that the Honorable Chief Justice will exercise his discretion by granting and acceding to the petition that we have actually written, and asking that the case be adjourned to October so that we come back. We are ready anytime for the trial, but as we have all indicated, we all have plans for the legal vacation. And so if you have your prior commitments, some have medical commitments, some have programs outside the country and elsewhere. And so to be able to vacate those plans that you had suddenly, when some had even if you look at the one who wrote to the court, it was very clear that if you attached flight tickets and all that, and they had commitment to be out of the country. But as I again put it, the judge exercised his discretion by saying that, look, he is bound by the warrant and he's going ahead to hear the matters. And whatever the court decides, we cannot abandon our clients. We have to abide by it because we are in court seeking to clear the situation, as it were, and make.
In related news, Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Justice Rimsai, has dismissed the position of the Ghana Bar Association. In a firm response, Mr. Rimsai argued that the Ghana Bar Association stance is founded on what he described as a self-imposed interpretation of the law and not on constitutional provision. The exchange comes amid public debate over legal vacation. The Ghana Bar Association had earlier issued a statement outlining its view on issues, citing concerns about adherence to due process and the rule of law. But Mr. Rimsai countered that the association's position does not reflect the true intent of the law and risk misleading the public. The discourse, the Deputy Attorney General calls for accurate legal to ground public commentary in clear legal authority rather than personal opinions. He affirmed government's commitment to upholding the Constitution and ensuring that all actions by the Attorney General's office are within the remit of the law.
No genuine or real controversy here. The matter is simple. It's been the case that vacation courts are always sitting whenever there is a legal vacation. No one can dispute that simple fact. The claim that it is the lawyers who decide whether they want to have a proceedings in vacation is not founded on any fact, it's not founded on any law, it's not founded on reason, and it is not founded by any rule of practice. Lawyers, nowhere in the world do you see lawyers deciding when a court should sit. What matters is that the head of the judiciary has given warrants for a number of judges, I think 10 or more judges, to sit across the country to take care of cases. Now this is the thing, a vacation judge has his or her own courts to administer. Now, when the vacation is over, he is also entitled to go on vacation, that is after October. Now, if you make the argument, as the GBA president is making, that a vacation judge is not required to, or cannot hear cases or conduct trial, then when the vacation is over and he goes on vacation, no other judge can have trial. So basically what the GBA is saying is that for cases that are pending in the courts that have vacation judges, those cases can only conduct trials in January next year. Because in October, when the courts return, these judges who are sitting on vacation will also go on vacation. And no judge can conduct their trial for them. And then after October, November, comes the December vacation, which takes us to January, first, second week in January. So you will see that apart from the fact that there is no practice backing what the GBA is saying, it doesn't also, it's not supported by law, by any rule of practice, and again, it's also supported by reason that would be positive or advance the cause of justice. So for us, it is a self-imposed understanding of the law, which we do not think should be allowed to prevail. And as the judge said, the vacation is, he has the warrant to hear the case and sit in vacation. And if you don't come, he will treat it as if you are not interested in legal representation, and has given directive to the clients to advise themselves. If their lawyers decide that they won't practice, no one can stop them, but he has a case to defend. If on the next agenda date he does not produce, I think the judge has given them 1 week. If they do not produce a lawyer, then they will have to conduct the cross-examination by themselves. Wrong, completely wrong. And the claim that there is a convention is completely even false. There's no such convention. And even if there is a convention, Order 79 of CI 47 is the order that provides expressly for legal vacation.
Deputy Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Richard Jan Mensah, has announced that the government Big Push electrification project is set to speed up the extension of electricity to rural communities that currently have no access to power. Speaking on the initiative, Mr. Jan said the project is designed to close the energy access bank gap and support economic growth in underserved areas across Ghana. Under the first phase, priority will be given to communities in the central, Savannah, Oti, and Volta region. In the central region, 211 communities are expected to benefit from the electrification drive. The project for the region is estimated at a cost of 600 million Ghana cedis. The investment reflects government's commitment to ensuring that no community is left behind in the national development agenda.
Today, the President, Mohammed's government, reaffirms its commitment to ensuring that no community, irrespective of its location, is denied reliable and affordable electricity. This project forms part of government's flagship Big Push program, involving an investment of 598 million Ghana cedis. Government targeted regional strategy to connect unelectrified communities to the national grid within the next 4 years. I am happy to announce that this year, Central Region, Savannah Region, Oti Region, and the Volta Region were the 4 regions being prioritized. In the Central Region, Mrs. Avances Ghana Limited is a contractor assigned to extend electricity to 211 communities across 22 districts. This intervention complements other energy sector investment. Under the National Street Lighting Program, solar street light installation in the Central Region is in progress. The Electricity Company of Ghana is also constructing a primary substation at Apam, comprising a 10 MVA, 23 11 kVA distribution transformer to improve reliability and increase capacity to meet growing demand.
In business, the manager in charge of mortgage at Republic Ghana, Frank Opon-Yeboah, has advised prospective homeowners to build according to their income and financial capacity rather than taking on large loans to construct expensive houses. Speaking at the launch of the Republic Bank, Mr. Yeboah said incremental housing development offers a more sustainable approach to home ownership, allowing individuals to start small and expand their homes as their incomes increases. He explained that a homeowner could start with 1 bedroom and later add a second, third and fourth bedroom until the desired house is completed. Mr. Yeboah noted that although people aspire to live in large, luxurious homes, their financial circumstances may not immediately support such ambitions. He therefore urged individuals to live within their means and prioritize acquiring a home that meets their immediate needs. To sports, former Asante Kotoko Communications Director Safo Duku has cautioned supporters that members of the club's board of directors could be forced to reconsider their positions if the club does not receive stronger financial backing from its supporters. The board, constituted in February 2026, is chaired by the Chief Executive Officer of the Joshua Construction, James Osei Brown. He is assisted by Chief Executive Officer of Rockshaw, Kwesi Osei Ofori, as Vice Chair, while founder and Chief Executive Officer of the Rig World Group, Kofi Amwan, serves as a member. In an interview, Safo Duku stressed that the financial demands of running a football club as big as Asante Kotoko are enormous, making external support, sponsorship and contributions from supporters crucial to the club's sustainability. Doku's most striking caution was directed at the personal financial pressure faced by those serving on the board. According to him, one of the biggest ways supporters can help is by turning up in their large numbers for matches, as strong attendance can generate gate proceeds while also making the club more attractive to potential sponsors. He questioned how the club could consistently recruit quality players without the financial resources to compete in the transfer market. He also challenged supporters to assess their commitment to initiatives designed to generate revenue for the club, particularly the Fabu Census project. He asked supporters to consider how many people have subscribed to the initiative and how many fans regularly attend Kotoko matches. In showbiz, fashion icon and media personality Osibo has hinted at a possible reconciliation between former Dome Kwabena Member of Parliament Sarah Joasafo and her brother Kofina. Speaking in a recent interview, Osibo suggested that tensions between the two sides may be soon resolved and that moves is in progress behind the scenes to mend fences. According to him, who claimed he is close to both camp sides, discussions are in progress with growing willingness to put the past behind them for the sake of unity. He added that the reconciliation will be in the best interest of the family of the late Kojo Safo Kantaka. On global update, Ghana and Burkina Faso have signed a defense cooperation agreement aimed at providing security and escort support along vital cross-border trade corridors between the two countries. The agreement was signed by Ghana's Acting Minister for Defense, Dr. Keziel Atoba Fosen, and Burkina Faso's Minister of State and Minister of War and Patriotic Defense, Major General Celestine Simpori. The signing ceremony was witnessed by the Deputy Minister for Defense, Ernest Broja Jemfi, Chief Director of the Ministry, Emmanuel Kate, Burkina Faso's Ambassador to Ghana, David Cabre, and the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Williams Ejapon. Also present were directors of the Ministry of Defense, heads of various directorates of the Ghana Armed Forces, and members of the Burkinabe delegation. The agreement is expected to help safeguard economic stability, secure critical supply routes, and strengthen defense and security cooperation between Ghana and Burkina Faso. And that's a wrap-up on the morning news update. Thank you so much for sticking tuned to your radio. Do want to log on to all streaming platforms as well as logging on to our website at www.GhanaTalksRadio.com for more news stories. I am Deborah Adolso. Do have a good morning.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with GhanaTalks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With GhanaTalks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. GhanaTalks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. GhanaTalks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials. From Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Esinam.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bliss.
Deborah Adosu.
And I am Esinam Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
Your morning star, right? News, views, inspiration, and great conversations. From Accra to the world, we bring the fresh stories, fresh energy every morning, full of fire and glory. Rise and shine, come join the line. Your day begins when the voices align. Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Your daily dose, here we go. Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Only on Ghana Talks Radio. Turn it up and stay tuned for the talk that moves you and keeps your heart in tune. From the traffic to the trends, we got something for your day. Every voice, every vision, lighting up the way. Show. Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Your daily dose, here we go. Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. When you see cause on there, where the spark inside the flame, from the first light to the last mile, stay with us so wide. Your morning star, right? News, views, inspiration, and great conversations from Accra.
Good morning to you once again, and you are welcome to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show right here on Ghana Talks Radio. This is your favorite online radio station. You can carry along wherever you go. All you need to do is just download the app on Google Play Store or Apple Store at Ghana Talks Radio. Remember that you're streaming live on Facebook at Ghana Talks Radio TV, on YouTube at Ghana Talks Radio, and also on X at Ghana Talks Radio. Do all to join us right here on the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Send in your comments, send in your suggestions, send in your opinions. We do all to read them back to you. Let's get interactive right here on the show. My name is still Ruth Esinam Fiagbedu, and you are welcome to the second segment of the morning show. And you know how we do it. We come along with knowledgeable guests who are going to be feeding you and, sharing their opinions on issues that matter to you every morning right here on the show. And this morning, it's a privilege to have sitting right here in the studio, Mr. Elliot. He said I shouldn't call him Elliot. I shouldn't call him Mr. I should just say Elliot. Yeah. But someone will sit somewhere and be like, hey, who's me on dear cry? Friend Elliot. How dare you call him just Elliot? So please, for the sake of, being formal and very official, allow me to out them, Mr. So sitting right there in the studios with me, I have Mr. Elliot Nene Aita, who is the NDC Communications team member. Good morning to you, Mr. Aita.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am doing well, Madam Esinam. How are you?
Madam Esinam. Me, I don't like Madam.
You see, so you
call me Esinam.
No double standards over here.
I'm not a fenyo.
Ah.
I am not a fenyo.
Oh my God. Hey, don't come for you.
Share. Freedom of speech. I mean, say freedom of speech.
Exactly. We can all exercise it.
So I am not a fenyo. Good morning. It's good to have you in the studios.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Hope all is well.
Yeah. By grace of God, we are fine. We are moving. I missed you last week.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah, great.
Oh, it's good to have you. Honestly.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, so our NPP communicator will be joining us shortly. Yeah, Maken will be with us shortly. But before we get into the main topic for discussion, today we have two interesting topics that has been, slated to talk about with regards to the whole legal vacation buhara, and also what the NPP says about the cocoa reform that is a rash decision. Do you think that is a rash decision, or is actually a good reform to cushion the cocoa farmers? And we'll be looking at that. But before we get into the main topic for discussion this morning, there's a new development on the case of Chairman Wontumi. And this time around, the AG say never, that man will not be freed for the sake of flight risks. And as I mentioned earlier, during the first segment, that the onus doesn't actually lie on the AG to make that decision, but it is the court. So the court actually makes the decision if Chairman Wontumi should be granted bail or not. And aside that, today they will be sitting on Sedina Tamaklo's case with regards to the AG filing for a stay of execution. So definitely, it's going to be interesting this morning. But let's focus on Chairman Wontumi and the reason AG actually gave to the court and cited that the appeal they brought and the reason for the appeal and for him to be granted bail is actually irrelevant and not reasonable, and it doesn't have the chance of succeeding. So the major concern that the AG raised by the prosecution is flight risks, and the Attorney General says Wontumi is a significant flight risk and is asking the court to consider the possibility that he may leave Ghana if granted bail while his appeal is pending. Nene.
Yeah.
Do you think that the AG has a point?
Yes, he does.
Tell me about it.
The reason why I would say that is you mentioned it right. That he's a flight risk. We are in Ghana. We have seen a lot of times when people have done this, right? They have been granted bail and then immediately and currently, I don't know if you are. No, it's not like I don't know. You are sure. You are well aware of the Kenoforiata saga, right? So I feel like let me not say I feel like the AG is trying to stop something like that from happening.
Yeah.
You get it? Because this is a very delicate case in the fight against Galamsey, right? The government actually, or the law courts, in our effort to fight Galamsey, is trying to use these kind of channels to deter people. Like you rightfully said in one of our conversations, that we say we are fighting it, and then we actually get somebody with evidence who's actually doing that, and we let them go. What happens? All hell will break loose and would signal to other people that they can also engage in these kind of things. However, you see, people also argue about the fact that Wontumi deserves all of that. But the thing is that I always say that when it comes to law, we don't have to mix emotions. Once there's evidence, you convict. So of course, just like I encourage that he should go through the appeal process. If he gets acquitted, that's great. But then the AG's stand is valid because we have a precedent. We've seen some things, and then Wontumi is somebody who can actually do that. He can actually flee the country, and then, or maybe we could do it in this way. This is another way also. I'm not really well versed in the legal side, but what I would say is maybe grant the bail if the courts decide to grant him the bail, but I don't know if they can keep him under house arrest. In the advanced countries, they have these monitoring belts that they put on your leg, and they give you a proximity that you can move within, right? And immediately you move past that proximity, it will ping the police, and then you have someone who's like your handler who would come and check on you, right? Also, on the other hand, I feel like they know that it won't work here because of how our systems are.
Yeah.
You know, one to me might, I'm not saying he might, but somebody might pay somebody off, or somebody might want to help, and then, you know, he'll become a flight risk and then he would actually abscond. So I agree with the AG. Yeah.
He should be. So you think that he should be where he is?
Yes.
He should be where he is. Well, we actually do not know the reason his lawyers gave as to why he should be granted bail.
Yes.
But
Yes.
since it's coming from the Attorney General that the reasons they are given are actually not reasonable, or let's say relevant enough,
Yeah.
to allow the man to be granted bail whilst his issues are still pending in court. And you mentioned the case of house arrest. That's another resource the government will have to. The government will be embedded with.
Yes.
Because I have to look for officers or security personnel
to watch you.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be at a vantage point to make sure that you don't run away or you are not being absconded. There was actually a question that came to mind that I wanted to ask, but I don't know what happened.
And you know, he's also facing the 30 million fraud case.
Yeah, he has other cases as well. Yes, the question has come.
So, of course, you cannot say you let him go, because all of these things are still things that are ongoing. You see, so I like I said, I agree with the AG stand. Yeah.
Right. You know, Chemawun to me is a first-time sinner.
Yeah.
And when I say first-time sinner, like as in first-time sinner.
Exactly. I get it.
Chemawun to me is a first-time sinner. And equally the supposed bank of the NPP. Is this reason that the AGA given coming from a genuine place, or there's a sort of politics in there, or is politically motivated?
Yeah.
And because looking at somebody who is let's say the backbone of the NPP, and now the court has actually grabbed him, and they've appealed, they have filed for an appeal that the man should be granted bail, and the AG comes in and be like, nah. Is it coming from a genuine place, or you see there's sort of any propaganda there, looking at who Chemawun to me is?
Yeah. Okay. To give my unbiased opinion, I wouldn't really say, because you see, this whole thing that the MPP is trying to propagate, saying that Chemawun to me is a political prisoner, I really don't agree with that. Not from a political standpoint, but this is somebody who has been found of, who has committed a crime, right? Evidence has been found against him. He's been tried, right? And then he's been taken through the process, right? And even we can't really say that because the AG does not really have a lot of control. If the courts, right, grant him bail, there's no way that the AG can really stop that, because that is the standpoint of the court, and they rule for that, right? The AG can only voice his how will I say, displeasure, and then also move forward to how will I say, stay the bail or overturn the decision of the courts. You get it? So it will be like a back and forth. So in this case, I feel it's just legal proceedings that's going on. We cannot classify it as he's a political prisoner. No, he's just based on the track record that the MPP has, or based on the track records that high profile people who are caught of crimes, right? Based on their track record, most of them abscond. Even Sedinam Tamaklu. Someone will say she didn't abscond, but in a way, it looks like that. This Gift Awari, the NSS, she was also not in Ghana for a long while before she was brought here, right? So you see, there is a precedent, and the court usually works with this. That's why I say that the AG has a point, you know, a very, very solid point based on precedent, based on things that have been happening. So this is just legal gymnastics. So we can never tag it as a political thing. No. Though it might look that way because you are prosecuting them, and the MPP will also make sure they make noise about it so that Ghanaians will feel that it is. But it is not. That's not the truth. Yeah.
So the AG has cited his reasons. Now the decision lies on the courts if they should grant him bail or not. But looking at the sentence or the crime of Wontumi and the sentence he has been given, 20 years, do you think that the courts will actually listen to the plea of Chema Wontumi's lawyers to grant him bail whilst his case is still pending in the court?
Honestly, at this moment, I can't really speak to that. Why? Because you see, the MPP party, led by Nana Akufo-Addo, ex-president Nana Akufo-Addo, was the same person, right, who put his political career on the line to introduce this sentencing into law, as in whoever is caught of illegal mining should go in for 15 to 25 years, right? So if we are talking about the fact that, I don't know if I'm on your question about the length, right? 20 years. It is in the legal framework. It is in the legal right of the court. And that's why I always say that President Nana Akufo-Addo has actually done his own party a disservice. I don't know if he knew of it or if he didn't know that his people were doing it. I don't want to imply. You get it? Because we have videos of him coming out saying that none of his people, Akonta mining was not part of it. And now we found that Akonta mining was actually involved in illegal mining. So it is his own people that have done him a disservice. And the law is just working in its... You see, the law doesn't have much wiggle room. It is like a soldier. Right, usually it is like a soldier. That's how come they are conducting the new reforms for the constitution, because it feels like it is straightforward, and sometimes times are changing and there's need for reform. So the law is the law. You understand? So once it is there that Adjuata has stolen this, and then what is the provision, right, for that kind of crime? Adjuata is supposed to go to jail for 5 years. It is at the judge's discretion to maybe say, based on like your legal standing, all of this, your societal standing, all of these things you are doing, I'm going to give you 3 years, or I'm going to give you 2 years, right, with some other stuff added. So yeah.
So definitely there's going to be a new development right here, because the court will have to make the decision if Chema Wontumi should be granted bail or not. But do you think he'll be granted bail? Do you think he'll be granted bail?
If he's granted bail, I have nothing to say. Yes.
But would you be disappointed if he's granted bail?
A little.
Why?
If he is granted bail and then clarifications come, right, or justifications are added, like the way Temaklu was acquitted and justifications were added, this is the reason why that has happened, right? It's fair.
In as much as you'd be disappointed,
yes,
and wish that the court will just say that Chema Wontumi should still be in custody whilst the case is still proceeding, rather than granting him bail to come home whilst his case are still proceeding as well. So however it is, the judge or the court is going to make that decision, and we will know about it once we have info on that. This is still the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show right here on Ghana Talks Radio. Remember that you're streaming live on Facebook at Ghana Talks Radio TV, on YouTube at Ghana Talks Radio, and also on X at Ghana Talks Radio. Do want to join us this morning? Let's serve you breakfast. Let's satisfy you. And you can also send in your thoughts, your opinions right in the comment section. We'll do well to read them back to you. Interact with us, engage with us right here on the morning show. In the studios with me is still Nene Aita. All right, so I think at this juncture we are going to be proceeding straight to the main topic for discussion. This morning we'll be looking at the whole legal vacation Buhara. The issue has actually generated debate following diverse views, different opinions from the judiciary, the Chief Justice, the Ghana Bar Association, and the Attorney General's office. And whether courts should actually continue hearing substantive cases during the vacation period. And while some argue that legal vacation is intended to give judges and lawyers a break from regular court proceedings, others maintain that justice should not come to a standstill and that courts can continue hearing cases when necessary. And the debate has risen a lot of questions if the AG actually has the final say when it comes to our judicial system or the services being rendered there. But before we proceed into that, what exactly is this whole legal vacation about? What is it about?
Okay, so it is in the Constitution that the Chief Justice is able to, give a day or some time, and usually happens between 1st August and September 30th, right? But that doesn't entirely mean that courts have to be closed, because we have this saying that justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yes.
And also justice, how will I say, expedited or done in a very quick way is also injustice, right? So it is in the Chief Justice is acting in his right to be able to do this. But what is the actual issue here that some with the NIB boss case, right?
Right.
Yes, that's exactly. People are actually using that as okay. His lawyers were not present, and then the Chief Justice, the judge was like, the next time his lawyers are not present, they would have to cross-examine the prosecutors. Yeah. But you see, in this case, the Chief Justice is working in his right, in the sense that even though there is legal vacation, usually they do allow some courts to run. You get it? And let's say there is a possibility that the Edubuahin can be acquitted or he can beat his case. If the more, that in legal proceedings, sometimes the more legal proceedings elongate or take long, you would have new evidences, new stuff that the prosecution can tie you down with.
Exactly.
Do you understand? Beating it quickly helps you. That is how come justice delayed is justice denied. So I feel like the Chief Justice doing all of these things is because in the Constitution, yes, some people can go, but some courts have to run. You get it? To make sure that chaos and then chaos and just calamity doesn't break through, so that of course we can't say that okay, legal vacation, so all the courts have gone on vacation, all the lawyers have gone on vacation. So if there are people who have to stand trial, they will be on remand. You understand? And then this will come because Ghana already we have a problem of what backlog of cases exactly
left in the
yes
court.
So you see this matter, we shouldn't politicize it. It should be like a Ghanaian matter in the sense that it is right, and it is also not so right based on the human factor. You get me? So let's tread cautiously with that. He is acting in his right, because yes.
So you don't think he's doing too much?
No.
And trying to infringe on the right of these lawyers?
No, because some lawyers have been allowed to go on vacation,
and
right?
Some lawyers are
yes, the ones who need, like their cases are active, right? And there's been development, and then there's a need for them to be there. Those ones, the Chief Justice is exercising his legal rights to be able to keep them there. Yeah.
So that means that if your lawyer says he or she is going to be unavailable during that vacation period, it is in the willpower of the client to actually go in for a judge who is working, a lawyer who is working during that vacation period.
Yeah.
Well, we heard from the Chief Justice and says that, and he mentioned that it is actually not the lawyer that should be making decision. As long as the judge is ready to sit on the case should still proceed.
Yes.
So let's get into what the Chief Justice actually says about this whole legal vacation. So Chief Justice Bafo Boni has clarified that Ghana's legal vacation does not automatically mean that judges cannot hear cases. He says if a judge is sitting and ready to hear a case, A lawyer cannot simply refuse to appear because the matter has been scheduled during the legal vacation. The Chief Justice explained that lawyers can take leave if their clients agree to it, but they cannot use the legal vacation as a reason to prevent a judge from proceeding with a case.
Yes.
He also stressed that adjournments are a judicial decision, meaning it is the judge handling the case who decides whether a matter should be postponed, not the Chief Justice or the lawyers. His comments come amid a disagreement with the Ghana Bar Association. The Ghana Bar Association also aired out their concern and also what they actually think about this whole legal vacation of a thing, which they've raised concern about lawyers being required to appear in court during the legal vacation. The GBA has argued that the legal vacation, which runs from August 1st to September 30th, is intended to provide judges, lawyers, and judicial staff with a break. The association says while urgent matters can be heard during the vacation, trials are generally not supposed to proceed, particularly where lawyers have already indicated that they are unavailable. The Bar Association has therefore maintained that if counsel is unavailable during the vacation, the case should not proceed in their absence. The Chief Justice, however, appears to be drawing a distinction between legal vacation and a complete suspension of court work. His position is that the vacation does not take away a judge's authority to sit and hear a case, and the debate has now raised questions about the balance between the court's responsibility to ensure cases move forward and lawyers' right to take their scheduled professional break. So from this reading, what is the GBA actually insinuating, or what are they trying to say right here?
Oh, that's a question for me. That's why I said I missed you, because usually, you bring a lot of,
I worry you with too much.
No, it's good, because it's actually very, very sound and laudable questions. I'll say that what you have said out loud is just as it is. You get it. Yes, of course, there is a provision for the legal vacation.
Yes.
Right. But you cannot say that because of that, the Chief Justice cannot exercise his right for some courts to be working, because it is in the Constitution. That being said, the GBA also has a point. You understand? I'm not going to sit here and say that they don't have a point, because I've read some of their arguments, and then some things they've raised up really, really are solid points.
But are they the same arguments I just read?
Yes.
Or they are different arguments?
Some of them are part of it, but you've covered at least entirely all of them. There are other ones. And then when you look at the Chief Justice, let's be honest, a lawyer can recuse himself, right? Can say, okay, I cannot, maybe he cannot continue with the case, and then another lawyer can take over. Or I put it to you, Madam Host, if I am your lawyer, and then you are facing serious charges, God forbid you not face it, but I'm saying if I am your lawyer and you are facing serious charges, right? Sometimes I just want to ask, in a humane way, would you recuse yourself when you know you can actually beat the case?
Oh, of course. I'll be there for it at a higher price.
Exactly. You get it.
Of course.
Because we know lawyers.
I am sacrificing my vacation.
Your vacation for
to be on your case.
Exactly.
It will come at an expensive cost.
And even looking at me as your client, wouldn't I pay you that amount?
Of course.
Because I know that, hey, if my lawyer leaves me, whoever, maybe I might not have someone else go and pick, and then maybe whoever I might go and pick doesn't really understand the case like you do, and it will take time for the person to get up to speed. So I can beg you to, please stay, because of course it's not every day that you would go to court. So maybe take your vacation and then be in the country. Of course, maybe if you want to travel out of the country, that is a different thing. You would have to delay that. But if you are in Ghana and then can you tell me that you go and sit in court every single day? No.
Oh, no.
It is never true. Maybe in a whole week you go twice or you go once. So these other days you can rest. And like you said, you can charge more. And then for the empathy's sake, I'm taking it from a humane standpoint.
Yes.
Right. That for that sake, would you say that because you have vacation, so somebody who is almost at the end of their trial, and you know the Edu Buahin case is a very serious
a very
case,
sensitive one.
very, very sensitive one. So from the Chief Justice standpoint, it is very hard to let that case just go on recess. You understand? Because they build a momentum that they have to keep on. They have to keep it up and then close out on it. You understand? I always tell people that in Ghana, we don't really think deep into legal proceedings unless we are in that situation. But the law is very stringent and the law is very dicey. It is something that you can't really play with. And these lawyers and these justices and these judges really understand deep because it is their job, right? So in that being said, the Chief Justice can move that point, and constitutionally, like we've stated, he has a point, and you've also stated the judges are the ones who have control over that. So if my court is running and I'm the judge and I tell you that I will continue the case, you as a lawyer, even though you are enjoying your vacation, you have two things to do. Are you going to continue the case, or you're going to exactly? You see, so that is the caveat here. And just like you said, if I want my freedom, and the lawyer says, oh, because lawyers, before you even sit down with them, they will charge you.
Of course.
The lowest is even 2,000 Ghana cedi for consultation. Exactly. People charge as much as 20,000 for just consulting you.
Just to listen to
exactly. You see, so, oh, my lawyer, I'll pay you 2 times of what I'm already paying you because this case is a very dicey one. You will not take it and delay your vacation, because in the first place, apart from you taking that money, which is the financial inducement, you also have the humane side of, oh, this is my client, and then we are almost winning this, unless maybe the lawyer knows that he's not going to win the case. But if the lawyer is very, very sure that he has built a solid case and he can get you released, or he can beat the case, why would he go on recess?
Right. But do you think that a judge should actually compel a lawyer to sit on a particular case, where yesterday we saw that the courts rejected an adjournment on the case of Hamid, the former CEO of NPA, and also the court has given Edu Buahin 6 days to come up with a counsel. Otherwise, it looks like you are going to be your own lawyer. Looking at that, do you think that is a sort of a source of the judge imposing it on lawyers to actually be available on that day, or it lies on the clients that, look, if you say you're not going to be available, I employed you, I can equally employ somebody else since you said you're not going to be available for that day?
The last statement you just made is true,
which
which is the client, right?
Client.
You have to be available. See. But just like what you read earlier, we can even speak from what you read. The judge is the judge in the law court. He's controlling everything. He is supposed to use his experience and then the law to kind of mediate. So court is like a debate, right? You bring your evidence, sometimes even your words can move the jury, or your words or precedent set can even let the judge actually move in some ways. So that being said, the judge, who is the mediator, Madam Host, if you are here and then my brother is here, you're actually mediating what we are talking about. Okay, you talk, you rebut, you do this, it's like cross-examining. It's just like that in the legal proceedings. So the judge has that right to move for that. However, he doesn't have a right to force. You read it. That control goes towards the client. He doesn't have the control to say, you, lawyer Esinam, you have to be in the court. No. He can only say, no, your adjournment request is denied. Like objection, overruled, right? He has that prerogative to be able to exercise that right. So it is up to the lawyer and his client. You get it. And then in this case, the judge telling, exercising his right to stop Hamid, right? Hamid's lawyer from asking for adjournment. He's acting in his legal right, because he has not told you that you can or you cannot be on the case. He's just saying that your request is denied. right? So what you do with that information is up to you.
Exactly.
And then Edu Buahin's also, yes, I read a little bit about it, and then I saw that yes, the judge in this case is acting in his legal right. It is the prerogative of Edu Buahin and his legal counsel to actually, just like, you see, I don't know why people keep making this kind of mistake, just like the Wontumi case we were talking about.
That has to do with a change of lawyer at the latter part of the case.
Exactly.
And then that actually caused the man. And lawyer Atachia looks like he wants to repeat the same thing.
The same thing with,
I heard that he said he has requested, he has bought flight tickets to be somewhere. Meanwhile, your client is in court.
Exactly. And are you telling me that Edu Buahin cannot replace those tickets? The same thing we're talking about Wuntumi's case when he said he had a graduation. And I was making an argument that your client's life is on the line. And you are telling me you cannot. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but your client's life is on the line. 20 years is not a small thing. And you are telling me that you have a graduation, so you cannot be there. And it's the same thing that's happening with this particular thing. So the judges are working in their legal right. It is up to you and your client to decide. Because the judge gave them, he was like, if your legal counsel cannot be here, then you would have to cross-examine the prosecutor's staff yourself. You see?
So that is it. We've heard from Godfred Dame. Just this morning too, I heard from Atacha that he's not going to be available in court. He said he will not go. But he has filed for an appeal for Chairman Wontumi to be granted bail. Is that not he being in court? I actually wish our MVV communicator was here to answer that
exactly, because this one is the one who has to answer that.
And he will be in court again on 19th. So is that not he been working? Is he still going to be on vacation during that period?
Yeah.
So what then happens to their clients? Is it that their client is not a priority to them?
That one I won't say it here for Ghanaians to come for me. But just like you have said, you have just detailed my thoughts exactly. You get it. You are the same person. And something like that has happened before. And it is repeating again. Then Edu Buahin might be convicted. Then Ghanaians or MPP will come again and say that he's a political prisoner.
Yeah. So, yesterday listening to Srimsai, he said that if a lawyer cannot genuinely appear in court, there are other options available. The council can actually formally request an accommodation or adjournments from the judge rather than using the legal vacation as an excuse to leave the case. Looking at what has unfolded with Atachia and also Godfred Dame, do you see it as a delay tactic to delay the cases?
As a delay tactic
to delay the cases in court
on the defendant side?
Yes.
That would be very hard to say, because
or genuinely they want to go on a vacation.
You and I cannot. That would be speculation, right? That would be assuming we know what they are thinking. But based on all of the things we are saying, we can't really make a solid judgment based on that, because I always advocate that we shouldn't assume, the prerogative of people until they've stated it. Even sometimes you might be having evidence and feeling some things that are saying that, this is in this line, but it is not. Sometimes you get to the end and you find out that that was not exactly what was happening. So just like you said, if you exercise that right to be able to call for an adjournment, right, and then it is overruled, you are acting in your legal right. The judge is also acting in his legal right. So then, that being said, you have to find ways to mitigate that issue. Because if your client is your first priority, Madam Ensina, what would you do? That's the question we should ask ourselves.
I'll have to sacrifice if I have to. I mean, winning that case will be for my portfolio as well.
Exactly. And lawyers actually keep those things and even helps them get more cases.
So why will I risk that?
You see? And
my opinion though.
Yes, no, it's our opinion. Law has been a long-standing practice, right? And we all know that when you want to become a lawyer, most of the things your mentors will talk to you about is this job takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of late nights, early mornings, a lot of reading, a lot of memorizing, a lot of, mental gymnastics, right? And it is very dicey. And this is told to you before you even are called to the bar. So anybody who is becoming a lawyer or studying to be a lawyer knows whatever is expected of them, right? That in some cases, you would have long days and longer. It's like you're telling me that I want to become an MP, right? And I don't know that there will be days when I'll sit for 24 hours to 48 hours to pass a bill at length. Then you tell me that, I'm an MP, but I'm tired, and then we've done 12 hours and I have to go. No, we have seen Parliament move or work more than 24 hours, have we not?
Yeah.
You get, because they know that this is what is expected of them in that high office. The same as the legal fraternity.
Yeah. So yesterday, Dr. Serumsai explained that there are two proceedings or two cases that are two types of proceedings that the court actually adhere to, and where he mentioned the proceeding of substantive matter and also the proceedings on interlocutory matters. And proceedings on the substantive matter entails proceedings that are capable of finally determining the case, and it often includes trials and hearings on the merits of cases, whereas the interlocutory proceedings, on the other hand, involves motions and sermons which do not determine the matter finally. And this is something that he's urging the GBA to note. So when it comes to substantive cases that actually look into more details of the cases, with that, during vacation periods, the courts can't proceed over those cases. But when we look at trials and other lesser cases that does not require so much time and deeper understanding or deeper documentation, that the courts can actually proceed over. So that was an explanation he actually gave to the GBA. But aside that, an individual have actually sued the AG, the Attorney General, and also the CJ and also Attorney General over this legal vacation of a 10 at the Supreme Court.
Saying that what?
So a private citizen, Elom Kwame, has sued the Attorney General and Chief Justice Bafo at the Supreme Court, challenging the constitutionality of the Ghana's legal vacation regime. He's asking the Supreme Court to determine whether the suspension of sitting at the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court for about 2 months each year is consistent with the constitutional right to timely access to justice.
Yeah, justice.
Yeah. Do you think he has a case?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes.
All right.
Because, of course, you can argue it out, like you said, that if we are facing if we are facing a sensitive case, right, and then the case is delayed, like I said earlier, delayed justice is what? Delayed trial is delayed justice, right? So she has a point. But looking from the other side also, if you rush a trial, that is very, how will I say, that is very important, or that is very dicey, that carries a lot of weight, and you rush it, you might have a mistrial. You get it? You might have a lot of things thrown out, because you see, sometimes in the legal framework, even if you are writing some statements to make sure that it goes on record, and then there are some things you omitted, you understand, the case can even be thrown out because of that. So on the standpoint of the person who sued, it has some point. And on the stand of the Chief Justice's point also, like I said earlier, the Constitution backs that kind of right. That you do know that the Constitution also says that apart from the fact that normal cases will run, very, very important cases can be handpicked, and the Chief Justice selects for it to run. Just like the Edu Wahin, and then the MPP, if he was here, he would say that, hey, why have they singled those two out? But it doesn't work that way. So I'm always for the fact that let the law work. So let's see how it will go.
Let's see how it's going to go.
Yeah.
So at this juncture, what would you say when it comes to who actually has the final say, or the authority when it comes to our court system and also the judiciary?
It's the constitution.
It's the constitution.
Yeah.
Does the CJ have the final say, or the judge, or the lawyers?
So I feel we've already established it already. So the CJ is acting in his right to give this, and then when it comes to the law courts, the judge
is actually has
yes,
the final
because
say.
sometimes you can feel that you have given a solid defense, and the judge will throw it out, and he will give you basis on why he's throwing it out.
What does the constitution say about the legal vacation?
I think I would have to read that for you.
Yes.
I have it here.
What the constitution say, is it actually backed by law that indeed this lawyer should be allowed to go on a vacation? If indeed it's backed by law that a lawyer should be asked to go on a vacation and they are not allowed to, in a way it's like you are infringing on their right. If it's in the constitution.
No, it is in the constitution,
that
like I mentioned that but you see, it is also stated that the Chief Justice has the right to what? To issue or to exercise what? The legal vacation starting from 1st to September 30th, right? And then he also has the right to what? To assign some particular sensitive cases to run, and also in the background minor ones and minor courts to run, because I can also argue, right, that we cannot say that legal vacation is legal vacation, so the court should not entirely work. No, the system will break down, you see. So it's a very delicate issue from both sides, but it is constitutional.
Constitutional. So here I have sittings, office hours, and vacation, days and hours of sitting. Subject to the Courts Act 1993 at 459. As amended, the Chief Justice may appoint any day, including vacations, for the hearing of causes or matters as circumstances require, and the sitting of the court shall be for such hours as the Chief Justice shall direct, and subject to special arrangements for any particular day. The business of the day shall be taken as nearly as circumstances permit in the following order. At the commencement of the sitting, judgment shall be delivered in matters standing over for purpose. Motion shall be taken in the order in which they stand in the motion list, and the causes of matters on the cause list shall then be called on in their order, unless the court sees fit to vary the order. So the Chief Justice equally has a say.
Yeah.
The Chief Justice equally has a say. Did you find if it's you already mentioned that it's actually backed by constitution?
Yeah, it is. And you actually just read it out. That's what I'm saying. I love it when you are the host.
I'm doing my job.
Yes, you do your job very well. You make the job easier for us.
Don't I've done this for you.
Yeah, you have. So I feel the essence of this morning show, right, is to bring Ghanaians facts and education, right? So you are in your right.
Yeah.
Madam
So
host.
let's see if Atachia will appear in court or not, since he's supposed to be at the Supreme Court Court of Appeal on 19 on the case of Chairman Wuntumi. He said you're not going to be available for your clients, but you're available for another client.
Yeah.
That is unfair, don't you think? That is unfair to the other clients. The fact that you are going to be available for another client and not available for the rest of your clients.
Maybe this time we see that his daughter is getting married. So let's see.
Well, but looking at this whole adjournment that has been rejected in the case of Hamid, does it in a way affect the case?
Has it been adjourned?
The adjournments, they actually pronounced that they wanted to, delay the case, not delay as in emphatically delay, but in a way to delay the case. Was actually adjourned, rejected by the courts. Does it in a way affect the case?
How would it affect the case?
In a sense that they are preparing that they are going for a vacation, so they are not well equipped, or let's say properly informed with the case, and now it has been rejected.
You see, if it's on that basis, it's baseless. Why? Because as a lawyer, before you even take up a case, you make sure that you learn all you can about the case, dig and get all the evidence, and say you prepare your defense, right? So you cannot come and tell me that you are not prepared and no.
It's not an excuse.
No. If you are adjourning the case based on some legalities, right? Fine. But apart from that type of thing, I don't think any judge in right standing would accept that. That is not a biased opinion. If we were in court and I come to you and I say this, if it's a normal person, no, the judge exercises that right to allow it or not.
To allow it or not.
Yeah.
So let's see how it goes. I think on this judge, we are going to close
the chapter on that.
On the chapter on this particular case that has to do with,
because the cocoa thing is something that is really dear to Ghanaians.
Oh, it's really dear to you.
Yeah. It's really dear, and the MPP has made it the point to propagate lies.
So, I think yesterday on Monday, there was an interview with Kojo Nkrumah, I think on Channel 1, where he says that the new Cocoa Board bill was actually rushed and without adequate stakeholder input. Was there any stakeholder engagement with the cocoa people, the processors, before you actually brought up this bill?
So you see that particular matter, when we go into it, right? I would say that the stakeholder engagement was not really done thoroughly. Though Majority Leader Honorable Ayariga stated on the Parliament floor, right, that they did some stakeholder engagements through a private companies and all of that.
Yeah.
But you see, last time I was on a radio show and I was talking about FOB, and then something prompted me that, because you know what happened? In the words I was speaking in like gargantuan languages and broad, vague languages, because I thought, oh, maybe the same way I have read the bill and I've taken time to thoroughly go through, someone else has done that, but I was wrong. And if I am wrong, I agree. I was wrong because the normal farmer does not care about FOB price. The normal farmer does not care about bills, reading all of that. All he wants to see is to see the impact of the law that you are implementing, right? And all they want is to be paid. You get me? So that I agree to some extent with Kojo Nkrumah that based on stakeholder engagement, but there's a caveat to it. Stakeholder engagement, as in, yes, it is something that will help the Ghanaians. But, Madam Host, if I come to you and then I say this attire would help you, it will make you look good, but you don't understand what the attire is, would you buy it? You get it? I don't give you the reason why this attire will be of value to you. You know, when you are selling to people, you sell them value, right? The farmers don't see the value in the bill. But if you have sat down and read the bill, you see the value. When we go on, you see you see the value that this bill brings. You see that it addresses the promise that President Mahama made to the farmers and over exceeds that, right? But if you don't engage on the community level, on the lower level, how would they understand?
Exactly.
You understand? It's something you've done that will actually help them more, but they don't understand
it. So for that, you're admitting that the stakeholder engagement didn't actually go on.
Yes, on the fact that they were supposed to go deeper and then talk to, these farmers and let them know that, say mobekachi semuko bibia omoka native language. You speak their languages and then you explain it in simple plain language for them to understand.
Right. So what does the bill actually mean? Because it looks like a lot of people do not actually understand it.
All right. Thank you very much. So honestly, this is long overdue, right? This comes to safeguard the cocoa. This comes to safeguard cocoa farmers' livelihood. Something I prepared because I just wanted to give it to you straight. Cocoa farmers' livelihood, because we all know how foreign market prices affect cocoa board, and in turn that affects the cocoa farmers' payments. This bill delivers what farmers have needed for decades. Why will I say that? It's a legally guaranteed floor price and a real financing model. You get it? So my only issue is what I said, that we did not conduct the stakeholder engagement with associations and farmers to the grassroots. I'm borrowing your words. In my opinion, it was not thorough. It has allowed the MPP to, and I quote, propagate lies. Because that's what they've planned to do. I've given a video to your producer. You can play it after that. They are turning what will save the farmer's purse and fulfill President Mahama's promise to safeguard one of Ghana's most important crop. Not everyone gets clear, unfiltered information in Ghana. We know that. And the opposition party has made it their goal to propagate lies and twist everything good to look bad. But we are up to the task. Because we always come here and say to Madam Messinam and then give the real thing. So let's move on to what FOB price means.
Yeah.
FOB simply means free on board, right? It is the price cocoa fetches once it's loaded on a ship for export, right? The international market price Ghana's cocoa sells for is the big number, the total pie, right? Let's continue. The producer price, what a farmer, so what this bill means, the 70% thing, what the bill means, the producer's price, what a farmer is actually paid per bag, has always been a slice of what we intend to pay with the FOB. The 70% FOB simply means when cocoa sells around 10,000 Ghana cedis, right? This law says a guaranteed, and mind my word, a guaranteed amount of 70,000 must be paid to the farmer who grew it. You understand me?
Are we sure we are going to see that?
Oh, that is even why the bill was rushed. In the reason why the bill was rushed, you know that it is opening in September. So we will all see. Do you get it?
Yeah.
We will all see, because the government wanted to do that so that they can be able to make all these payments, right? And in September, the window will open. When I continue, you understand. So now, if the Ghanaian was receiving lesser, currently the farmer, regardless of market prices or foreign prices, he is getting his money. So let's say it's 10,000 Ghana cedis. Mama promised 6,000 Ghana cedis per bag. Yeah. So if a bag has reached 10,000 Ghana cedis, the FOB price of 70% guaranteed means that the farmer is getting 7,000 Ghana cedi, which is 1,000 Ghana cedi. You would agree with me that is 1,000 Ghana cedi more than what President Mahama promised, right? You get it. And this money that we paying them will not fluctuate. It will not be affected by the foreign market. So let me ask this question. Those saying President Mahama does not intend to fulfill that promise, they are just speaking the devil's language. Let me give you a backstory. Do you know we inherited a cocoa sector whose credit was badly damaged? I'm serious, Madam Essinam. You read wide. You know this. By a debt crisis that was induced by the MPP's incompetence, their mismanagement, their fiscal financial indiscipline, right? Okay. So now if you would allow me to read so that I'll give you, so I'm just going to go straight, just like, so let's talk about the domestic debt exchange program, the DDEP, right? Because if I don't talk about that, we won't really understand what I was talking about that they left us. So the MPP government was facing a severe debt crisis. They announced that the domestic debt exchange program, December 5th, 2022, targeting bonds maturing between 2023 to 2039. Remember the haircuts. In plain terms, Ghana could not afford to keep paying what it owed on its debts. So instead of defaulting outright, it forced or persuaded domestic bondholders, banks, pension funds, insurance companies, and eventually individual investors, right, to swap their existing bonds for new ones with worse terms, lower interest rates and extended maturities. That's what we know as the haircut. Bondholders got back less value spread over more years than what they were originally owed. So the scale of the pain in the cocoa sector and other affected areas is as follows. 7.7 billion in cocoa bill debt alone was restructured. The coupon rate collapsed from 30% to 13%. And maturities were stretched from just 0.7 years, about 8 months, to 4.4 years, which is a lot. Who was hit? The individual investor, right? No, let me go to what happened next. This happened against the backdrop of economic freefall. Inflation surged. So you see how this has affected everything from 12.6% in 2021. We've already established it on one of our shows here, to roughly 54% in 2022. And the Bank of Ghana policy rate jumped from 14.5% in 2021 to around 30% in 2023. While the cedi depreciated against the dollar by 27.8%, in 2023 alone, adding over 100 billion Ghana cedis to Ghana's external debt stock. Okay, like I said, who was hit? Individual investors. US dollar domestic law bonds and cocoa bill issued by Cocoa Board were initially excluded from the restructuring, but a decision that was later reversed, meaning the ordinary people and Cocoa Board's own bondholders were dragged into the haircut after first being told they'd be spared. Pardon me for, this is just a backstory. I'll come back and then make sure that the farmer can understand. The human cost lingered for years. Many of the individual cocoa bill holders who opted out of the exchange were mostly pensioners and small-scale investors, whose funds remained locked up for nearly 2 years after the restructuring. Some only got fully paid out as recently as July 26. We paid them. When Cocoa Board finally settled 162 million Ghana cedi in our time in outstanding obligations to those non-participating holders. Okay. So this is the missing piece that ties our talking points together, right? The DDP haircut in 2023 damaged Cocoa Board's own creditworthiness as a state institution. I'll explain why. It had just forced its own bondholders to take losses. 2, that's a big part of why when Cocoa Board went looking for its usual syndicated loan, and the following year, international banks were far less willing to lend on good terms. Rates that had once been as low as 1.5 climbed to 8%, and the 2023-2024 syndication itself arrived 4 months late. 3, this is the ride the MPP took Ghanaians on. Financial indiscipline, going to debt crisis, going to haircut on cocoa bills and other domestic debts, going to damage institutional credibility, going to syndicated loan financing collapses. Farmers go unpaid for months. That is what it led to. But you see, this bill's new domestic financing model is the fix. Let's continue.
And you're very positive it's going to fix.
Oh yes, I am, because based on how we have structured it, like I'm saying.
And how is that going to work?
Okay, so I want to explain what the syndicated loan is, right, so that people listening will understand. He said each cocoa season, Cocoa Board needs a huge amount of cash in the past upfront to pay farmers as soon as they deliver beans, before the beans are even exported and sold abroad. Since it doesn't have the cash sitting around, since 1992, Cocoa Board borrowed money annually from mostly foreign banks, typically in the range of 1.2 to 1.8 billion, right, to pre-finance cocoa purchase from farmers at the start of each crop season. This gave license buying companies that send money to pay farmers promptly at harvest. It ran without interruption for 32 years. We have been doing this for 32 years. So let's break it down. The interest rate in 2026 spiraled onward. Cocoa Board has secured these loans at rates as low as 1.5. That's what we left them as at of 2016. A sign of strong financial credibility, but rates climbed sharply to 8% in more recent years as confidence in Cocoa Board's finances weakened. The first crack. By 2022, Cocoa Board's finances had deteriorated badly, and it defaulted on and restructured its short-term cocoa bills in 2023. About 7.93 billion Ghana cedis was pushed into longer dated bonds maturing between 2024 and 2028. So even before they were leaving, they were giving us what? Problems as part of Ghana's broader domestic debt restructuring. 3, the loan arrives 4 months late. Cocoa Board sought the syndicated loan on a 2,600 ton pricing benchmark, but the funds didn't, and take this one but the funds didn't arrive until December 2023, 3 to 4 months after the season officially opened. Licensed buying companies had no seed funds to pay farmers for months. I've explained, we take it to pay them. This has never happened in Cocoa Board's history. This has never happened in Cocoa Board's history before their time. Let's talk about the financial disaster. Because Cocoa Board had already promised to deliver over 333,000 tons of cocoa under contracts it couldn't fulfill on time. Those contracts rolled into the next season. Meanwhile, global prices spiked to $6,600 per ton. So Ghana was buying at a loss of $4,000 because now we were what? We're doing $2,600 per ton just to service the rollover. A loss disclosed by Cocoa Board CEO that time was 840 million by April 2025. That's what we declared. Separately, actual prediction that season came in at 432,145 tons against the projected 800,000, a 45 shortfall versus a normal deviation of just 5 to 15%, costing farmers and stakeholders over 1 billion in lost value. Cocoa Board couldn't pay the final loan due in July 2024. They needed a $70 million emergency bridge loan from the Ministry of Finance to avoid default, and then defaulted on repaying even that bridge loan in 2024. 2024-2025 Cocoa Board gives up on the syndication entirely. We gave up on it because we wanted to try financing it ourselves. For the first time since 1992, Cocoa Board chose not to raise the annual syndicated loan at all, announcing it would try to self-finance the season instead. That
it was self-finance.
To self-finance.
They are going to be independent.
Yes, that was CEO Joseph Wahinaido's, that they will self-finance it and then get the farmers paid because of the problems we were facing. The experiment failed in their time. The replacement model where global traders and buyers paid up front for part of the shipments and were reimbursed later and left farmers unpaid for months.
So you are guessing into why the experiment actually failed?
Yes. So you see the time when President Mahama was making all of these promises, because this was actually a problem. Farmers had gone months without being paid because of their failed governance in the cocoa sector. Cocoa purchases slumped in 2024 due to payment delays, which buyers and farmers warned could fuel smuggling of Ghanaian cocoa across the border, which it did. It fueled smuggling, and some people even started cutting their trees and going into Galamsey. We heard all of that. By January 2026, the self-financing experiment left farmers unpaid. That's how come farmers are shouting, Mahama, Odeyeka. And Cocoa Board was reportedly open to returning to international syndicated loans. The alternative wasn't working either. 8. Cocoa Board didn't secure syndicated funding for that season either. And officials confirmed the model was off the table for now, deepening the liquidity vacuum for farmers and license buying companies alike. So you see, it seems that all the NPP does is, or knows, is how to pour money into holes.
But you agree it was rushed?
Oh, I have agreed. That's why I'm giving you the backstory and explaining. But all they know how to do is pour money into holes.
Right. So at this point that the government has actually agreed that the reform was actually rushed. They didn't communicate better. They didn't engage better with the cocoa processors, the cocoa farmers, and all the the stakeholders that are actually involved in this or going to benefit from this whole Cocoa Board bill. What are they doing better? What are they going to do better?
So that's where I'm getting. It's good you've asked me that question. So you see, I would like to say that the stakeholder engagement that I mentioned, it is not the government's position. It is my position, based on my objective mind. Because I always say that I'm a Ghanaian first. And then I cannot say that if something is going wrong, I'll back the government. Of course,
try to defend.
I will not defend. I would align with a normal Ghanaian. Yes, I'm a communicator for NDC, but we have to speak the truth. If you cannot trust me on my faults, how will you trust me on my misstuff, right? So let me continue. Like I said, for 32 years, we borrowed from foreign banks to pay our own farmers. Odd as it sounds, it was not good. However, it was a working system, right? But the incompetent, slow elephants broke that system too. When I was writing this, I was so taken aback. I didn't want to use any hashes, but honestly, they handled it in an abysmal way. Let me continue. Banks stopped trusting Ghana's finances. And we have heard the finance minister, Dr. Kasi Atuforsin, speak many times about building back credibility. So I'm giving you a broad overview of how Ghana's economy is affected and we are fixing. Banks stopped trusting Ghana's finances. Rates jumped from 1.5 to 8%, which I've already stated. And one late loan alone cost the country, I'm just giving a summary of all I said, 840 million and left farmers unpaid for months. We tried an alternative, buyers financing upfront, and farmers still went unpaid. This bill ends all these musical chairs that MPP is doing with us, right? Because the government it will establish new domestic financing models so Cocoa Board isn't held hostage in the foreign banks. Okay, now let me explain what this comes. I've already said in the earlier side that currently, right, the first thing, it comes to protect the cocoa farmers' payments. What are we saying? We are saying that regardless of international prices, regardless of foreign fluctuations, right? The farmers will be paid the money that they are owed.
Which is the promise the NDC.
Exactly.
But if you are going to be paying, so that means that if the price at the international market is being reduced and the government is still hidden to its promise to pay these people 70%, is that not a loss the government is making?
No, so let me explain that. You see, in the past, like I explained what I was saying, usually what happens is we take these things, right, pre-finance, and then go and pay the farmer later. But now the government is saying that we are paying you before we are moving. Do you understand me?
So you pay them before you are moving.
Exactly.
You pay them the 70%.
Yes.
What if the money you go for is actually way lesser than the 70% that you've paid them?
No. This way, we you see, that's why I say my government is up to the task. We know what we are doing.
So how does the government actually intend to fund that?
Okay, so let me explain. So based on this, right, you see these funds that we've set up, right, and these loans that we usually take, we don't want to take those loans again, right? Currently we want to add value, because what was happening to the market is that if you go to the market, why was Cote d'Ivoire outbeating us? Because they were not just selling raw beans. You get it? They were adding value and doing all other things. So we are trying to raise our stake, trying to raise our value, so that we can actually have market value. So cocoa board, of course, there are ways where we use loan to finance all of these things. But you see, the problem of the farmer is, like I explained earlier, the farmer doesn't understand. Say, you are not paying me because of foreign prices and all of that. No, we are saying that we will find money however we will find money and pay you, right? And we would go and deal with the money of selling that, right? So however way that we will make sure we get our money, we will get it. Because at the end of the day, Mama is promising that the farmer who knows nothing but only to cultivate and sell and expect his money will get his money. You get me? I know I have not answered your question, but based on that, you see, all of these things are governmental policies that will fall in place. Because currently we are not mismanaging the economy, and then we are making provisions for money to be able to use these things to support all of these things. So the government is coming in, just like we absorbed the 2 Ghana cedi on diesel, which is a loss to my government, right? But the government is forward thinking, is always thinking about the normal Ghanaian. That's how come we are ready to take that hit for these farmers to be paid. But we know that the plans that we are putting in place will not make a loss in the international markets. Because the reason why we make a loss in the international markets is your value that you are providing. It's like it's not clear. Eh?
It's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm okay.
If it's not clear with you, then Ghanaians are confused too. Oh my God. So if you just allow me to just continue. So the new financing model, right, it addresses the fact that Cocoa Board had relied on syndicated loans for 32 years to finance cocoa purchases, but lost access to that after Ghana's debt restructuring and had resorted to an unsustainable buyer-led funding model. The bill introduces a sustainable domestic financing model for cocoa purchases.
So that means that it will be done internally.
Like I said, you get it. That's what I was trying to explain, that we would find ways, right, to fund this and go and fight for the money. Under it, do you know that there's also farmer welfare? We establish a pension and an education fund for farmers and their family. Because how many farmers run pension schemes? You see, cocoa is one of Ghana's most important crop. So they are cultivated, must be protected. And let me ask a question for you. You see the part where they were talking about the land protection?
Yeah.
Right? Or anti-galamsey. You know, the bill also prohibits farmers
that from
but
giving their lands out to the galamsey.
Exactly, or felling the cocoa trees. The MPP are trying to turn it.
So what are they saying now?
They are saying that it's my own land.
Oh.
Why will you stop? I see it's a caveat. The language in there is pending approval of the government. So if you have a cocoa farm and you want to cut it down and plant another thing, right? And you know that cocoa is an important crop to our economy, but you want to cut it. It's your land. You have the prerogative. You just have to make sure that you seek approvals and let the government understand that this is the reason why I want to fell my trees, because most of these people are felling these trees to to fund Galamsey because they found gold on those lands.
Yeah.
And then we say we are fighting Galamsey, and then we come and say that we are not for the bill. So what is the MPP doing? You get me? So it is subject to approval. So yes, you can fell your trees, but just give us a reason, a good reason. And in developed countries they do this. You cannot just stand up and go and be cutting trees that actually help the ozone layer. Can you?
Yeah.
Exactly. So why are we making that argument?
So all of this is included in the new bill.
Yes, it is, and there is more. But I see that it's too much information. Do you get? So let me just wrap up. The first thing is income stability, right? A farmer can budget now because he knows that he will be paid regardless. At first, the government would not pay you, and the farmer doesn't know whether if he cultivates these beans, he can what? He can be paid to handle all his other obligations. So against a no minimum share instead of a number that changes at the government's discretion, it's season. I don't know if you get that phrase. So the government pays you what you are owed, and they find ways, and the 30% that they get is used to run Cocoa Board's affairs. You understand? The second thing is that protection in a price crash. A price crash. If world cocoa prices fall sharply, farmers are shielding from bearing a disproportionate share of that loss.
So that means the government will cushion that.
Cocoa Board will absorb it. Do you get it? It will absorb more of the downside.
Yeah, so that is what I'm asking. That is that not a loss to the state?
It is not really a loss to the state.
Or the priority should be the farmer.
Yes, the priority is the farmer. The priority is you, the citizen. The government will not run as a loss. Why? Because if we build credibility, which we are now, right? What happens? Foreign people trust us more. Do you get it? And in a case where we are not able to, which will not happen, because Dr. Atu Cassiel is, up to the task. And the way we are restructuring things in Ghana, we would get the money to domestically fund these things, and we will still buy. Because you see, embedded in the bill is a 50% adding value to the cocoa beans. So we are not only now selling cocoa beans, so we are now adding value to this and selling it to the market. You get it? So all of these things are important facts. I think I shared a document with you outlining. So in there are more of the explanations. If your people would be so kind to share it with the public. You see,
the reforms are nice. But the only problem we have in this country is implementation.
Yes, I agree.
How are we going to ensure that this is actually implemented properly, that the farmers are indeed going to feel the impact of the reform?
It will be implemented. How this is a government that is delivering on most of its promises, and it's a listening government. I just want to borrow from the demonstrations that have been happening. You see how peaceful it has been, and then this other thing, the GPR2 fares that they wanted to increase, and then there was it just took
an intervention from
exactly. GPR2 sat to the ministry relayed to presidency, government absorbed what? 2 Ghana cedis. So this government is a government that rises up to the task, and we listen. You get it? That is the whole caveat. So I know that yes, implementation has been a problem in the past, but now implementation will be different.
Is this going to prevent other farmers from smuggling their cocoa beans to other countries?
You see, that is the sad thing. People will always be people. It will deter some people because yes, they will be paid and they will be getting money. But greed is a serious thing I always talk about. You have one thing, for the opportunity to get more, you want to do some other devious stuff, right? And if you do that and you are caught, you cannot say that the law is being unfair, because right now we are restructuring and making sure that you are paid. So yes, it will deter some people, but of course there are bad nuts everywhere.
There are bad nuts everywhere, and just as he said, people are people. We are all witches.
Yeah.
So everybody. The smuggling there, if you are caught, I think yesterday it's been reported that some people were caught smuggling cocoa beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been arrested.
Yeah.
So if you are caught doing so, you'll be arrested.
Yeah.
We've heard from Kojo Oponkoma where he says that the new cocoa board and bill was rushed and without adequate input. Well, Cocoa Board has also come to respond to that. And they are saying that they have engaged all relevant stakeholders. They've engaged them and they were being consulted. And you shared your opinion that it didn't go on. So that means that
it went on, but I mentioned that majority leader, yes, as would have. Because I realized, like I told you last Friday, I was on Game TV, and then I was talking, and a caller called in, and I realized that what he said made a lot of sense.
Maybe they should break it down.
Exactly.
Speak it in their local dialect.
Yes.
That is how the policy will actually reach to them for them to know that this is actually a great benefit to them.
You see the way I've read all of these things. Somebody might not understand it, but the only thing he wants to hear is maybe that will I be paid? That's what the farmer cares about.
It's a good reform, just as we've read. My only issue, or the only issue we have with bringing in policies, is the implementation. The implementation of the policy. You put down a nice document with so and so, that and that. These are the people that are going to benefit. And then when it comes for the time for people to enjoy, they do not actually get to enjoy that.
Yeah.
But anyway, once the bill is passed, let's see the engagements going on. Let's see people being consulted. Let's see people being communicated to, especially to the farmers. The government should try and at least go down to the villages, the cocoa prone areas, speak to the people, engage with them, explain to them, so that if another party or if a third party actually comes in to try and disinform and misinform the people, they know that this is not what the government is saying, so they are not going to pay heed to what they are saying.
Madam Host, which we are doing now. But you see, that's what I'm saying, that if we had done it well, there will be no need to now disseminate it to the farmer on their level. Starting before the bill will pass, we do that. But then again, based on the reason I gave you, that the window is coming for us to sell, and the open season is coming, so we needed to pass this bill so that Ghanaian farmers will be safe. They can argue, or we can argue, that was why it was not done thoroughly, and that's why Cocoa Board is now doing stakeholder engagement at the farmers level. But in my opinion, we should have done that at the start. But they are doing it now.
They are doing it.
Yeah, to try to explain all of it. That's why even I am here making sure that I read into it and break it down into normal terms for the Ghanaian to understand.
For the Ghanaian to understand. The minority said they are in support of it. Yes, I read, and they mentioned they are in support of it.
Because they know it's a good bill.
The only thing they do not support has to do with the
rush.
engagement. And also it's being rushed.
So
if minority is in support of it,
let's wait and see.
Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Do you have any last words for this particular?
So I would say that allow me to speak my 2x4 tree.
Oh, you're not good at tree.
I'm good at it, but it's not so good.
Right.
So me papa no mo ne me mama no mo ne me brothers ne me sisters. Cocoa be wo eba se be boamo. What you say? A trace cocoa bag rise to 100 million. 100 million. CC at 10,000 Ghana cedis. Government be tuao 7,000,
which is 70%.
Which is 70% of Usika. And we government in Casa me kwa ba betuao. Government say tuao up front. What you say? Now you will be paid. And after that, in so pension schemes ni a lot of nyama bebre ahodo e keka ho. Mom pardon me chi. Na me training is so good. So that's what I have to say about that. I don't know if I can say hi to some people.
Of course.
Yes. So I want to say good morning to Mr. President. He's doing very, very well. I always say it is rising up to every occasion. Dr. Kasiel is also doing well. Dr. Sajida Shiraz, the CEO of the SLTF, right? She's doing very well. Do you know that under her, over 100,000 students have registered and, are are enjoying, the no fee stress.
Yeah.
And then the percentages on the loans have been reduced. Yes, trust me, she's bringing reform.
The reason I'm laughing is because yesterday, listening to Miracles Abuaji, he said that no student has received no fee, no stress.
Thank you very much.
But it is post stress.
Thank you very much, madam. Please, can you let the producer play the video I give you?
The video?
Yes.
Producer?
Just because of this thing I've said, let the producer. I will say something after.
They have an agenda.
Yes, let the producer play the video.
They have an agenda. You think they have an agenda?
Oh no, it's not like I think they have an agenda. This one, let's hear it from the horse's own mouth. If the producer is ready for us.
The things our communicators are saying. If you are general secretary, week after week, you must set the agenda for the NPC to come and defend. We are in a position. We don't need facts. We need to propagate. We need to propagate.
And you were clapping.
1.5 years in a position. The party is in parliament. There's no problem. But in parliament, it's a house of records. And at some town, it is not a place of records. It is a place of propaganda. So, if you speak as an opposition general secretary, national security must meet. Hello, bloggers, this one is not for you, please.
He actually said bloggers.
This one is not for you.
This one is not for you.
Exactly.
That's the way they
Yes. So that is their plan.
But unfortunately, bloggers are fat.
And unfortunately, Nancy media so I had the dead. And Ghanaians will know. So that's what the MPP are doing. You see, that's why my problem is, why do we politicize things that will help the country? You get it? I feel like everybody can be objective. Even if you are aligned with NDC, you be objective and make sure that things that would help the country, you back it. But just like Miracles Abuaji has a track record of a lot of lies and propaganda, because that is what they've planned to do. You've heard it, Ghanaians. You've heard it. So, like I was saying, Dr. Sajida is doing very well. Trust me, she's empowering women, which I am for. She's made sure that the percentages of these SLTF loans have been reduced. A lot of people, and trust me, maybe next time I come here, I'll bring you proof of people who have benefited from the no fee stress. So she's doing very well. I wanted to say good morning and kudos to her. She should continue doing the good job. We are behind her solidly. And also Dr. Samia here. And did you see my boss, Honorable Sami Jemfi? He's speaking about the gold board.
Yeah,
and have you noticed the banter that is brewing between him and Afenyo? And he has told them that he's ever ready to come to parliament. Why would they not call him? Because they know. And Sami is someone who they are targeting because they know that in opposition, he was the one always giving the facts, speaking the truth. And now they want, and he's ever ready. So I want to say good morning to him also. And then Anthony Julius, always my brother. Yeah.
Right.
Good morning to them.
Yeah, good morning to all of them. And good morning to you once again. And thank you so much for joining us right here on the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. We'll come your way same time tomorrow. Do have a lovely